So, welcome to the WM32. We're going to call this kind of a chat show. Talk show.
Yeah,
Okay, so this time it's our transfer window special. So today what we're going to do is we are going to go through different teams within the transfer window and assess their transfer business. So, Connor, if we start with Aston Villa, obviously one of the newly promoted sides.
Big team to come back up.
Yeah, and they've spent a lot of money as well. But is it going to work for them?
It could do. I don't think they're going to go down the Fulham route where they've spent a lot of money. It's not going to gel properly. If you look at it, some of the players they brought in, they're good players. A couple of them are risky. Bringing in Tyrone Mings in, a player that's been there before, helped them got promoted. Stable head. What do you think?
It's an interesting one with Villa, because I think what happened with Aston Villa is they released a lot of players to begin with, but they released a lot of experience. You know, like Tommy Elphick, who's gone to Huddersfield on a free, Glenn Whelan, Mila Jedinak, and players like that. So obviously those three in particular all have Premier League experience. So it's a bit surprising that they have decided to release them. Obviously, I know that they are within their 30s, but I just think that Premier League experience sometimes you can't buy it. If you are, I think as it's proven that especially with Tyrone Mings, it's going to cost you quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
I think, you know, with Tyrone Mings, yes, he's a good player. We've seen what he can do, but that was, you know, shot through the system at Ipswich as a fullback. Seems to have converted into a centre half and whatnot. But I think they're pinning their hopes on him being the leader in there and being the one to bring that experience in. But obviously, I watched them against Tottenham.
They weren't bad against you lot.
They did all right. They did all right.
Villa.
I think they'll be all right. I think the striker Wesley, I think will be a handful for. He's a big handful,
but I don't think he's going to get the goals they need. Replacing Tammy with him, he scored 13 goals in the Belgian league last year. It's decent numbers, but not strong enough for a striker to come in and bang what they're going to need 10 to 15 goals this season.
True, but no, I think he'll bring. Obviously, he's a physical presence up top. So I think what they might try and do is try and get the ball up to him, see if he can hold it, and then bring others into play. You know, like Grealish. If it's Trezeguet playing out on the wing, El Ghazi. They've even brought in a player that I really like from the Championship. Is Hotter.
Yeah.
I think his left foot is really good, and I think I think he's a top player. And surprised that, you know, somebody hasn't picked him up early. I mean, you know, what he did at Brentford, especially under Mark Warburton, was when he was there was fantastic, really. But yeah, I think Villa will be all right. To be honest, I think they've got enough.
Yeah.
I really like John McGinn as well.
I loved him for that goal against you lot.
Well, there is
great
that.
ball,
but,
great run in.
Yeah, no, I think he's a really good player. I think
they're going to have to rely on a lot of goals from around the pitch with not having a out and out 10 to 15 goal scorer.
Yeah.
So you're looking at Grealish and McGinn stepping up, maybe Trezeguet as well.
Yeah, but then, you know, we see Villa spending over 130 million, and then we go to Norwich, who have spent about $1 million.
Yeah, they haven't spent much, but the team they've got Timo Pukki in their side. I know one of my mates has put money on him not getting more than 5 goals this season. It's looking pretty poor now, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's got 4 at the minute.
He's got 4 already. Mate, good striker, gonna finish. They've got good players in their side. Maybe they're just going to go off the sort of hype from last year and how well they played and carried that over. You've seen teams do that like Bournemouth did when they first came up. So they could go that route, or they could, because they haven't brought in and strengthened enough, they could go the other way.
Yeah, although obviously mentioned the fullbacks, Aarons and Lewis, 2 exciting young British fullbacks. Obviously Aarons being in English and Lewis being Northern Irish. Ben Godfrey, who's another one playing at centre half, can also play midfield. Another good young player. You know, you've got the likes of Hernandez, who was outstanding last season, and Buendia as well. The pair of them in the Championship for Norwich were superb. And again, obviously the main man up top, Pukki. But a signing that excites me from a Norwich perspective, anyway, is the one that Paddy Roberts.
Yeah.
You know what he done at Celtic. When he was on loan there, I think he went a little bit quiet last season when he went out to Spain. But I'm hoping anyway for him that this loan works out for him. I think it's going to be very difficult for him to get into the City side.
Yeah.
With the quality that they've got.
Let's face it, that City side is full with perfect players all across the pitch. Him going across abroad, massive step for him, but it might have been too much of a change system-wise compared to how it is in England and Scotland. So maybe this will be the stepping stone that he needs to maybe, well, if he doesn't break into the City team, maybe somewhere else.
Yeah, I agree. I think Sheffield United, going with the theme of the promoted side, I think they've done some okay business. Watched them against Palace. I thought they were pretty decent.
They were
pretty decent. I think they could cause teams a few problems. I mean, they're pretty set in the way they play. Obviously,
they're hard to break down. You saw that against Bournemouth and against Palace.
Yeah,
they're hard to break down, and they're good. They're good on the counter.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, with the three at the back, the two wing backs that they've got, Baldock and Stevens. I think that back unit. And obviously with Dean Henderson coming in on loan, it's a settled unit. They've been together for at least a season, and whatnot. I just worry I wouldn't say I worry where the goals are coming from, because I think they've got players that can sniff goals out. I mean, like Billy Sharp.
Chances for him.
I think it's that you need a bit of a creator in there. I know they've got Luke Freeman, who for QPR was their main sort of go-to guy for creativity and whatnot. Obviously brought in Ravel Morrison, who...
That is going to be a very interesting one this year, because he could rather have a massive season and show everyone what he has been able to, what has been promised from him, or it could go the other way, where you get maybe count on a hand how many good games he has. It could go either way.
Yeah, but I think with Ravel, he's got the abilities there. It's just, can he
turn it into performances?
Yeah, well, I think it's just, can he do it consistently? I think when he was at West Ham, he showed glimpses, and whatnot. But my worry for him is off the pitch. Are people, now he's back in England, are people going to start getting involved with him again? Which sort of has plagued his career.
Well, we look at that. Where I listened to an interview that he was in when he went from United to West Ham. It was a big movement for him to get away from those people. And then I can't remember where he went on loan. It might have been
QPR, I think.
Yeah, and it just brought more negativity around him, so he had to get out of the country. And he hasn't done badly after the Lazio move. Like, played in Mexico, apparently really enjoyed it. Played for Ostersund's last year, so he's played away. He's been able to learn from his mistakes. Hopefully this is a season where he comes back and shows everyone what he can do.
Yeah, because he's 25 now, so it really is an opportunity for him.
And you look at that, sometimes it takes a player to hit that age to mature and become the player that he's supposed to be. Yeah, that's true. If we go towards the top end of the pitch, obviously Liverpool haven't done too much. Not really, but they've got people coming back like Ox. It's going to be massive for him. Can play out wide, can play in the centre, gives him that depth. Harvey Elliott coming in from Fulham. I don't think he's going to get many games. He'll get cup games, littler games, sort of get him a run out. Ryan Brewster, he's the one for me in their squad. Not a new signing, but coming back from injury, it's going to be massive, because he can fit in anywhere across that front line. He's going to get minutes, because it's going to be really hard for Liverpool to do what they did the last two seasons, where basically none of their front three got injured. That's what helped them a lot last season. One of them, if they pick up an injury, Ryan Brewster or Origi, I'm not a big fan of Origi, but he turns up in big games, scores the big goals. Ryan Brewster will get those minutes, and with minutes, you can perform. Yeah,
I think, with Liverpool, I think what helps as well is the age profile of their squad.
Yeah.
They are at very, very good ages, sort of mid-20s, maybe some just getting into that late 20s, but I think it's a team that can stay together for at least a couple of years. So I think Liverpool probably felt that they didn't really need to do too much. It was just a case of getting some out, and those that wanted to sort of go and play with Mignolet, for example.
Yeah. But it's like, you look at it, the one problem that I think, if Robertson gets injured, they haven't got a left back cover. You're looking at a 33-year-old James Milner to cover there. Right, don't get me wrong, he can do a job, great player, is still acing all of their fitness tests somehow. Like, it's actually unreal. Have you seen the video from Liverpool training camp?
Yeah.
Where he absolutely blitzes everyone. It's unreal. Right, but you're going to have to count on him to play left back, and he's more comfortable with centre mid. Yes, he's done it, and yes, he probably will have to do it again, but I would have strengthened there. If I was Klopp, I would have gone, okay, we've let Moreno go, not the best left back, it's alright. You've got Robertson, possibly the best left back in the league at the moment. Trent, the other side, probably the best young right back in the world at the moment. I'd say he's top 2 with Joshua Kimmich. Right? But if one of those two gets injured, you're not just losing the defensive side they've got, you're losing the creativity. You've got to bring someone in to help that.
But like I said, I do think Liverpool will still be alright.
Yeah.
Obviously, injuries permitting and whatnot, and suspensions. Because, like you say, I think they've had key players available and fit at the right times to be able to.
We look at it
to go the distance.
How about City? Lost De Bruyne. I thought he played under 900 minutes last season and was still the most creative, one of the most creative players in the leagues and in the City squad. He only played under 900 minutes in the league. That is outrageous for City to lose possibly their best player or midfielder and still win the title.
Speaking of City,
yeah,
Rodri, obviously their main signing coming in, probably their long-term replacement for Fernandinho.
He's not a bad replacement. I know it's a bit pricey, but when you've got that money and people know you've got that money, you're going to have to go out and spend it. And you've got a long-term replacement, you've got someone who's comfortable on the ball, good in the tackle, and he'll do what Fernandinho does. Those cheeky little fouls on the counter, pull you back, foul, not get a yellow for it. It's fine. It's how Pep's teams work. You look at Busquets has done it. You look, Thiago did it at Bayern. Fernandinho did it. Rodri's already done it in the first 2 games against West Ham and against Spurs. Like, he'll go out there and he'll do that and he'll help the team in that way. So he is the perfect replacement. There isn't anyone more fit for that role in a Pep squad.
You mentioned Spurs. They have finally signed somebody, and after over 500 days, they announced 2 in one go. So it's almost like you're waiting for a bus. You're waiting ages, and then all of a sudden, 2 come at once. So they announced Jack Clark from Leeds. I really, really like this signing. I think when I did see him play for Leeds a few times last season, quick, direct, little bit similar in that respect to Lucas Moura.
Yeah.
Do I see him potentially ending up as a right back? Maybe,
Possibly.
because of how good he is going forward and the way Pochettino sets his teams up.
Let's face it, Poch is the wizard of fullbacks. He's unreal.
I wouldn't go that far. Did you see Trippier last season?
Yeah, but he managed to get 20 million for Callum Chambers after 1 season.
True, that is true. But obviously he's gone back to Leeds. Jack Clark on loan. Hasn't really started featuring in Leeds' start to the season, which I know has got a few Spurs fans slightly worried and thinking, are we going to have to review this loan in January? Personally, I don't think that will be the case. I think he will stay at Leeds. He wanted to go back anyway to try and get them back into the Premier League, and Bielsa's relationship with Pochettino is fantastic. So I think the loan
he's going to get
sense.
Game time. It just needs him to sort of. It might just be a couple of weeks, just keep him out of the spotlight because he has just had such a big transfer to a kind of big club. So it's going to take him a little bit of time, keep him out of the spotlight, then let him come back and do his own thing. It's probably for the better of him.
And then the second signing, the second person that Tottenham brought in, Tanguy Ndombele.
I love this man, and he should not have signed for you. I'm sorry. Madrid, who have been chasing Pogba and Eriksen, also I should have just gone, you know what? There's a better player in the long term than both of them, and it's Tanguy Ndombele. And you've managed to go out and get him for a very, very good price as well. And then you're looking at it, you're going, he's great defensively, he's great offensively, his key passes are high, his dribble numbers are high. I think it was like the only person that dribbled more than him in Ligue 1 was Neymar, and Neymar barely played, but he was taking on like 15 dribbles a game. It's absolutely outrageous. Like, just taking a mick. He is so good, Tanguy Ndombele is so good, it's sickening and it hurts me that he's gone to your club.
I think, obviously I didn't know too much about Tanguy Ndombele. I'll hold my hands up and admit that. But the hype that is surrounding it and the amount of people that have come to me, because I was like, what's this guy all about? And they're going, Wes, trust me, you have got a talent here. So obviously I'm excited for him. I've seen him obviously against Villa and against City. The Villa, I think he's struggling a little bit to get to grips with things, but obviously it is early days. But I think once December hits, because it's notoriously for Pochettino teams, they come into the gears in December.
Team is harder to settle into than any other team.
You could argue Pep's. You could argue a Pep Guardiola side.
Maybe, but the way Poch sets out, or like we'll just go back to it, like how he's top 2 managers in the world, him and Pep, Poch and Pep. I'd say Poch is better than Klopp. I'm gonna get a lot of hate from that, and I can already hear it. All right, but like the tactical things Poch does, he'll make Tanguy and Ndombele easily I'm calling it now, 5 years time, best midfielder in the world.
But yeah, like I say, I'm excited to see just how good I mean, the game against Villa, I know, watching the game, it took Christian Eriksen really to come on and change the game, but you could see that once Eriksen started coming on the pitch, Ndombele stepped it up as well. So that sort of says to me that he enjoys playing alongside really, really good players. So I think obviously it's a signing that every single Tottenham fan has got excited about, and by the sounds of it, will only get more excited the more he plays.
Just hurts me because I was sending you videos last season of him absolutely rinsing players for fun in training sessions.
Yeah.
And now he's going to do it in the North London derby against Mkhitaryan and Mustafi. Talking of Arsenal.
Yeah.
A very good window in signings into the club.
Yes.
Outgoings, questionable.
Yes, I think so as well. Considering you only had 45 million to spend, a reported 45 million to spend, it looks like the money.
Me so much.
It looks like the money has either that reported transfer budget was blown out the window, or Arsenal have been very, very clever in the way that they've structured their deals.
Well, you look at it. We've structured the deal for Nicola Pepe, 15 million this year, and the rest to be paid over a 5-year contract. That is smart. The William Saliba deal, who you were giving me so much stick about, we're going to take him off you, that didn't happen.
But then Tottenham have made Arsenal panic because it was like, well, if you don't get him, he's gonna go somewhere else.
But you look at it, it's 27 million, and the way we've done it is because we've loaned him back, we've only had to pay, I think it's like 15 to 17 million up front.
Yeah.
So that's not bad. David Luiz on 8 million, it's not bad. Title winner, character. Everyone's been saying for years, Arsenal need a proper character, a leader at the back. And managers at Chelsea have said he's a character, he's a leader, he gets players behind him. If he has a good run of games, perfect, great. But what you want is that David Luiz that comes in that has those games. If you get that David Luiz, you go in on a Saturday afternoon and you're playing, Villa at home, and he just goes, oh, I can't really be asked for this.
He goes wandering.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's the one.
That's the worry. Danny Ceballos, my man, the guy that's coming on loan. It hurts me it's only on loan with no option to buy because he's going to go back to Madrid. He's too good to not go back to Madrid. Saw the game against Burnley, was running the game.
Yeah, obviously he got man of the match.
Yeah, 2 assists, hard in the tackle, good on the ball, good from a set piece as well. He's a good player. I'm happy with him on loan. If it means we have him on loan for a season, hopefully get back into the Champions League, then you're looking at it going, okay, we're going to let him go back and then we can bring someone else in. If you gave me the option at the start of the window, because we were after Dennis Pratt from Sampdoria or Ceballos, everyone to a T would have gone Ceballos. And to put him off on a loan deal, I think is pretty good. But the one that I want to talk to you about is your man at left back, Kieran Tierney.
Oh, wow.
What a guy.
So this signing is probably the most underrated signing of the whole transfer window. But I don't think people understand just how good of a footballer Kieran Tierney is. He is
so technically...
He's the perfect modern day fullback.
Yeah.
He can he's first and foremost, he can defend.
Yeah.
So he's very, very similar to, I'm sure a player we're going to talk about in more detail in a minute, is Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah.
He's very, very similar to, in that they defend first and then they go forward. But when he does go forward, his productivity is fantastic.
It's outrageous. It was, what was it? In the Europa League at one point last season, it was 3.2 key passes a game.
and
yeah, it's the Europa League, but that's what he's going to be playing in this season.
yeah. So he's
And
still. I think that was a key for Tin. If he was going to move from Celtic and come to the Premier League anyway, he had to be playing in Europe at the very minimum.
Yeah.
And he's managed to achieve that. You know, he is a serial winner. He's grown up a Celtic fan.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would probably hurt him that he's having to leave, but at the same time, you know, he's just come off the back of a treble.
It's unreal. Like,
you know, he's an invincible at the same time as well.
yeah.
He's worked under Brendan Rodgers, who is a very, very good coach, and whatnot. He's had, you know, Kolo Touré as a teammate and as a coach as well. Kolo being the top defender that he was, and whatnot. But
the thing that really excites me about him, plays as a left back at Celtic. Will probably play as a left back at Arsenal, unless for some reason we go back to a back three and play Kolasinac as a wing back. But if we do that, he can play on the left side of a back three, because he does that for Scotland.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sad for Scotland. Their best two players for the last God knows how many years are both left backs at the same time.
Yeah, I think Scotland have had a bit of a thing over the last sort of say couple of years where they've had to get Tierney and Robertson in the same team. I think the only way that managers have been able to do that is by playing with, like you say, the back three. But I think it was an area as well that Arsenal needed to address, because Monreal is in his late 30s now, so you know he's not got long left. Kolasinac
is great going forward. It's not his fault he can't defend. Okay.
But it was an area that Arsenal needed to address. They've addressed it, and the price that they've got Tierney for in this market, in this day and age, will prove to be a bargain.
And you look at it, 22 years of age. If you keep locking him down to long-term contracts, no buyout clause in that, which Arsenal don't really do, or many English teams don't really do even, you're looking, he could be your left back for the next 8 to 10 years.
He could be Arsenal's left back for 10 years easily. It just depends on, obviously, Arsenal, the way that Arsenal are going to go.
Yeah.
Because are they going to be a team that is going to keep pushing to get in the top four and fall short?
Yeah.
Or are they going to be one that will go, right, we're going to go for this, and we're going to be back in the top four, and they're going to be consistently back in the top four? It's where the fans believe that they, at the very least, should be, but the reality is there's 5 other teams in this top 6 that believe the same at the minute.
As an Arsenal fan myself, I believe we should be battling for that 4th place, and the only real competition this year for 4th. The top 3 I think are pretty much decided, especially with the signing Spurs and City have made. But the other team that are battling for the top 4 of Arsenal are Man United, and their signings this summer defensively have been outrageous.
I mean, Wan-Bissaka, we know statistically the best right back in the league, or the best defender in the league last season. A fullback for me that impressed me so much last season. I was begging for Spurs to sign him. I was begging for Spurs to. I would have gone and picked him up. Do you know what I mean? If need be.
Let's face it, if you got rid of Trips and brought in Wan-Bissaka, I don't think we'd be sat here right now. You'd still be loving life.
I'd still be buzzing because
he's outrageously.
But he's the only fullback that I've seen, and as a coach, this goes against usual coaching whereas if a winger's coming at you, you usually say to your fullback, get on his touch early.
Yeah.
Get on his touch. Don't let him come at you. Don't let him, because 9 times out of 10, there's a good chance he's going to beat you. I saw Wan-Bissaka at Spurs Palace last season. He's letting wingers come at him. He's so confident in his ability in 1v1s. It's outrageous.
Well, you look at that even the season before when he broke into the side. His first 5 games, he played you lot, Spurs, Liverpool, and City, and he did the exact same thing then. And people don't get past him.
No.
It's like everyone, when you played Palace last year, and it'll probably be the same with United this year, you will not go down your left-hand side because you know you're coming up against Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah.
And you know 70 to 80% of the time, you ain't getting past him.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, his ability in 1v1 situations is fantastic. And that's what makes him, at least the price of what he 1v1s was his thing. I think with Wan-Bissaka, yes, there's question marks about him going forward. So I think with him, he needs to have that appetite and that thirst to learn on that particular side. Because at Palace, yes, it statistically probably why he made the most tackles and why was because Palace had to defend a lot of the times because they know they weren't going to have the ball.
He was in their top 5 for dribbles and take-ons last year, but that was just trying to get out of their half because I think he was like in the bottom 10 for key passes and chances created. So he's got the ability to dribble because he started as a winger, and then got moved back, and that's when he became the player that he is now. But you look at him, he's still so young. He's got so much time. Will he learn it under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to be that attacking fullback? Maybe, maybe not.
He'll need to be coached, and the same as the other side with Luke Shaw. He needed to be coached, and I don't think Mourinho's was
style,
one to coach. Not to get on the training pitch and be like, right, this is what we. Mourinho is very much about the here and now. But I think there was just so much disparity at United between Top and Jose about which way they were going to go. But at the same time, Jose wanted Maguire.
Yeah.
Ole has ended up getting Maguire. 80 million is a big price tag, but it's not his fault. It's not his fault.
If someone's going to pay that for you, they're going to pay it. And Leicester did really well to get that money.
Oh yeah, they dug their heels in.
Let's face it, 40 to 50 million people would have been going to take that sort of money. To get 80 for him, it's fantastic. Very, very good. But you're not just buying a very good centre-back who can defend. You're buying someone who's comfortable on the ball, who can take the ball forward. You're also buying a leader. Like Pogba came out and said, from day one when he walked in, he made it known that he was a leader and wasn't here to mess around. So, if you look at it in a couple of years' time and United they're battling with Arsenal at the moment for top 4, if they end up 2-3 years' time where they brought a couple more players in, or Dan James absolutely explodes, which he could do, you're looking at them going, bringing in Wan-Bissaka for 50 and then Maguire at 80 has sorted out their back line because Lindelof was already there from the last season. Luke Shaw's been there a couple of years. They've signed De Gea onto a new contract again. Like, that could be a back 5 that lets others do what they can do.
Yeah, but I think, I've seen Maguire a couple of times, and yes, everybody talks about him on the ball, and he's so comfortable, he can bring the ball out, he steps into midfield a lot of the time. No one mentions how quick he is going the other way. For a centre-back, he's pretty quick. There's not too many that I've seen anyway that sort of roast him in terms of getting in a foot race with him. So I think quick. That side of it as well. And I think, but one thing I will say with Maguire is I do think he will get found out at Man United, but it won't be from his own doing. I think it will be from the partners that he plays with alongside, because none of them are of. I mean, Lindelof is getting better, but I still think there's a mistake in him. Smalling and Jones are not good enough for Manchester United. I'm sorry.
Chuckle Brothers should have gone this summer.
Rojo is not good enough to play for Man United.
No.
Eric Bailly is just consistently injured.
Yeah.
So there's got to be a decision made on him in the next 6 to 12 months.
Yeah.
So is Maguire going to get caught out positionally?
But I thought this would have been solved with a defensive midfielder bringing in. And when United came out at the end of the window and went, you know what, we could have brought another attacking midfielder in. You're sitting there going, so what, you're expecting Pogba to defend, to be your best player going forward and defensively? It's like I brought up to you earlier about Santiago Alvarez from...
Yes, very good defensive midfield player.
I can't remember where he was. Stuttgart went down. 4.5 tackles and interceptions a game. 40 passes a game with an 80% pass act. In a team with more possession, that will obviously go up. But United needed a defensive midfielder. So you're looking at it, when they lined up against Wolves the other day, they're holding 2 midfielders with Scott McTominay, don't get me wrong, a good player, but he's not a United, like, Fergie type player.
No.
And then Paul Pogba, who was their best player going forward last year as a holding midfielder.
I think, United were obviously in for Ndombele.
Yeah.
They wanted a creative midfielder as well, so they were in for Bruno Fernandes and whatnot. They were reportedly in for Christian Eriksen, who would not have gone to Manchester United.
No.
I can assure
you
it
would be a step backwards in his career at this time.
Not only that, Tottenham don't deal with Man United. It's as simple as
true.
We've still got the ump with them over Berbatov.
Yeah.
That's over 10 years ago. We still got the ump, right? We've not let it go.
You won't let anything go, you lot.
But Tottenham aren't going to be bullied, and are in the best position to not be bullied in the transfer market. In a long time that I can remember, certainly being a Spurs fan.
Yeah.
And I think, You know, a lot of people are saying about Eriksen and whatnot, and I think, is he going to stay? Is he going to go? If Eriksen does go, yes, it'll be a massive blow for Spurs, but I think the fans will then appreciate just how good of a player he was.
He is an outrageous player, but I don't want to pipe on about Spurs too much. Daniel Levy is not the person that will let someone go at the end of next season on a free. You're either going to sell him before the 31st into Europe, or you give him a new contract.
I think he'll sign a new contract.
I think he will as well.
And I think Alderweireld will sign a new contract as well.
Yeah.
And I think Jan will get an extension. Chelsea have obviously got the transfer ban, so
still brought in Kovacic.
Brought in Kovacic, that was something that they could have done anyway.
Yeah.
I think probably the only other player they could have brought in was Higuain. They've decided against that.
I think that's a good move for them to give Tammy, who's played the first game, played the Super Cup as well. Wasn't bad in either games. Not his fault with the penalty against Liverpool. Everyone misses penalties. Just look at Pogba, 4 since the start of last season. I think it's a better thing for them that they didn't bring him in. But bringing Kovacic in gives them more midfield depth. I think Mason Mount is going to blow up this season. You saw it against who did they play at the weekend? Leicester. Was great against Leicester. Good finish as well on his home debut. You can't really say much about their window because all they did was let players go, and the players they let go, you can't really argue because they weren't going to be.
You say that though. Lampard's come in and said, "I want to give youth a chance. I want to give." I think we've seen it in certain cases with Tammy Abraham and Mason Mount. But one player that I thought he would have given more minutes to this season was Ethan Ampadu.
Yeah.
But he's gone out on loan.
But look where he's gone.
I know he's gone to Germany and he's gone to Leipzig.
Leipzig are the best team to create young players.
But that was just one that confused me slightly, because if he's going to go that way, I know he's obviously, he sold David Luiz as well, wants to promote Zuma by the looks of it.
Zuma hasn't had the best start so far. Looked shaky against United, not great against Liverpool. Leicester he looked better, but it could go either way from this season. I think coming back from injury, then at Everton he was good, but
then I think with obviously a lot of the outgoings are at Chelsea, but if you're going to go down that route, I'm guessing here that Lampard is going to do it gradually, and he's not going to do it in one go.
So let's face it, if you turn over that whole squad, like you've got Callum Hudson-Odoi is going to walk into that right wing slot. I'm sorry, Pedro and Willian, after Hudson-Odoi is back in, he started training against Day, be back maybe mid-October sort of time. If he's on form and firing, those two don't get near the right wing slot. Left wing, you've got Pulisic. Great signing, great to get him done in January. Let him stay at Dortmund and bring him in. Very good player. I've spoken to a lot of Chelsea fans. They're expecting him to come in and be an instant Hazard replacement, 15 goals, 15 assists. He's not going to do that. He's going to be more creative. Like you look at him last season, in a overperforming on the attacking side, Dortmund only got 7 assists and 4 goals. So he's not going to be that replacement. You're looking at Hudson-Odoi to do that. But him in there, it's a different option. Very good player. Mason Mount behind whoever's up front, if it's Tammy or because Batshuayi looks like he's worked himself back into the squad. Olivier Giroud. You can't turn over a whole squad like that in one summer. So he'll do it gradually. I hope Frank gets the time.
I think he will get the time because of the transfer ban. So if anything does go wrong, I'm not saying Frank is one to use this as an excuse, because Frank Lampard strikes me as a person that has zero excuses, and he strikes me as a person that has 0 excuses. But he can say, well, actually, a lot of these players aren't mine.
Yeah,
I've not been able to put my yes. I can put some form of stamp on it with bringing in young players, and I hope Loftus-Cheek, who is a player that I absolutely love, I hope he gets a good run and a good amount of game time. I personally see him ahead of Mason Mount, but I just love the way he plays. Loftus-Cheek, I love the way he takes the ball, and his build. He's a big lad, and
he's good. He will do, if he comes back and is fighting fit towards the back end of the season, he could be the man that keeps him in the top 6 to top 4 bracket. Because Chelsea do have that chance to fall off, and as you said, I don't think Frank will use his excuses. But he can literally turn around and go, the main man that kept us in Champions League football left, and I had no money to spend because we had a transfer ban, which is not his fault. So he could use those excuses. I don't think he will, because I think he will get a lot of good work out of this squad. People go, but they got battered by United. United were just on it, and it being Frank's first competitive game.
But then you say that, I think the way that the game went, I wouldn't say it 4-0 is
4-0 was a bit nice.
Yeah, it's a flattering score, because actually Chelsea had their moments in the game. They created quite a few chances. Yeah. So,
and you look how they played against Liverpool, and Liverpool didn't put out a weak side, they put out a strong side, and Chelsea kept up with them the whole 120 minutes.
Yeah, but I think with Frank as well, he's not walked into the worst squad in the league.
No.
We've got to realise that. I think, he's walked into some very, very, very good footballers.
Yeah.
And it's not like he's just walked in and,
he's just been given, like, a squad who have not the talent to break into the top 6 and gone, if you don't make a top 6, you're gone. He's got a good side there.
Yeah.
If they place their potential, like Kante, was apparently injured during the Liverpool game, played 120 minutes, then also played 90 against Leicester. Great player, will do anything for anyone. Great player. You've got Jorginho, who's just a pass master. You've got players on the attack list going forward. They'll surprise a few people.
Yeah. Which club then would you say is probably going to be the surprise package in terms of the transfer business that they've done in the Premier League this season?
See, that's hard. So you've got some very good transfers done this season, and there's some questionable ones. A lot of people said to me, Everton, I don't like their transfer business.
What is it about it that you don't like?
The fact they barely shift any deadwood. You've still got like the likes of Walcott, who is a good player, but he's not the player that he was. Chektosen still there at this moment, and they let Alamana Lukman go.
Yeah.
Right, and Everton fans being there like, but he keeps on kicking out and not being happy with stuff. Is that maybe just because he wants to play and wants to show people how good he is, and he's gone aboard to do that, and he's gone aboard again to do that? Bringing in Iwobi, good player. I've always loved Iwobi.
How did Arsenal manage to get 40 million for Alex Iwobi?
Can we just say, Arsenal have managed to get nearly 80 million for Oxlade-Chamberlain, who at the time wasn't fancied and playing as a right wing back, and Alex Iwobi, who someone described Alex Iwobi to me the other day in the perfect way, because I love him. He's great he's good going forward until he gets the 18-yard box. He's got a good pass on him, works hard defensively. Someone turned around to me, it was like they have a tase on him, so as soon as he crosses that threshold to the 18-yard box, tase goes off. He's done. Right. 40 million, great price for him. I wouldn't have let him go. Personally, I would have given him another year under Unai Emery, who played him a lot last season.
Did he have much choice?
Not really, because that Arsenal side was not great. But if you're looking at people are saying Everton, I personally think Leicester are going to be the main side that pushes for top 6. But if you're looking at teams that surprise me transfer window wise, I'd go Wolves. Patrick Cotone coming in, very good forward, gives them a little bit extra going forward as well. But I also think with Wolves, if you lose someone like Diego Jota, that could be very risky for him. He's a very good player for him, does a lot of work, and arguably one of their best players with Ruben Neves, who is his goal against United was an absolute joke.
Yes, I have seen it. I'm still getting told about it. Today's Wednesday, the goal was Monday.
But mate, he put it in the only bit of the goal that De Gea has no chance of getting to. As I said, De Gea is one of the best goalkeepers in the world. He's behind Edison at the moment. Alright, and I'm going to get a lot of messages from disgruntled United fans already. But Edison is absolutely unreal. He puts it in the only part of the goal, and with players coming at him from 25 yards, in off the bar, perfectly, with the instep. He's not laced instep, he's placed that.
Yeah.
Absolutely outrageous.
Yeah, it was a good goal. If you haven't seen it, then you need to look it up.
If you don't know, get to know.
Yeah,
basically.
I think a team for me that have gone about their business sort of quietly, but I think it's solid business, and I think it's typical of this football club to do solid business, is Burnley.
Yeah.
they needed a left back after releasing Stephen Ward. They buy Eric Peters, who Premier League experience,
Yeah.
Premier League player by all accounts.
One questionable signing though is Danny Drinkwater.
Drinkwater on
If
loan.
you got-
I see the logic behind
There
it.
is logic behind it, but also hasn't played a lot of football recently.
No, but I think the
So
environment.
hopefully this goes well for him.
Yeah, I think the Burnley environment. I think he'll slot into very, very well. I think he's a good character, which is something that Dyche likes in his squads. Doesn't really like those that will come in
And
with a
this
bit of
one,
an ego and
yeah.
to upset the apple cart. And I think
It's
if he does sign them and he finds that out quickly, I think they are.
they're gone.
Yeah.
Another sign I like from Burnley is Jay Rodriguez.
Yes, bringing J-Rod back. The fans, I believe, are still buzzing about this. The prodigal son, the
has
one
returned.
of
To be
their
fair,
own.
He looks like Jesus now, so
He's literally one of their own. He's come through there. He knows
exactly
everything about the club and
he
whatnot.
he's got so much talent. It's just keeping him fit.
Yeah. Had a really, really good season as well with West Brom last season. I think it was between him and Dwight Gale were having a fight over who's going to win the Golden Boot in the Championship.
That's another one. How Dwight Gale has not gone back to West Brom.
That's an interesting one.
It's like you look at it. So for Newcastle, who I feel so sad for, because I'm almost certain they're going down this year.
I personally think Newcastle are going to be alright. I think they've got enough.
They've got the talent, but it's the manager. I think if you step down from a manager like Rafa, of his class, his ilk, absolutely amazing manager, won a league abroad, won Champions League, and you go to Steve Bruce, don't get me wrong, probably the same style of football, defensive, blah blah blah, but it's like you look at it when Pardew went to Palace, was then all the hard work of the previous manager slowly filled away.
Yeah.
That's what I think will happen. Don't get me wrong, St. Maximin, great signing. Joel Linton for 40 million, questionable, but he's a good striker, physical.
Yeah, and I mean, to replace somebody like Rondon would have always been difficult.
Yeah.
I think they would have been difficult if they had Rafa. Probably slightly easier for them to get them in because of Rafa, but would have still been difficult under the circumstances, because we know
Well, not just that. They've also lost Jose Perez, who, don't get me wrong, everyone's like, oh, he had such a great season last year, was their best player. Not really. 11 of his goal involvements came from the start of March to the end of the season.
Yeah, he
exploded
finished strong
at the end of the season.
Finished strong.
But it was like, I think it was like 6 goals in 6 games at the end of the season. You're thinking, so 32 of those games, he wasn't around. And to get 30 million is a very, very good.
I've always liked Jose Perez.
He's a good player.
I just think there's just something about him that I just think he just
sniffs
goes
danger.
Yeah, I think he goes about his work. I think he's always second fiddle. It always felt for me at Newcastle he was second fiddle to the big man up top. It was if it was a Mitrovic or even in the Championship it was Dwight Gale always seemed to be the main man and whatnot. Yes, I know he's gone to Leicester and he'll probably not be the main man there. However,
he wasn't bad against Chelsea. He performed quite well. Surprised me a little bit with his defensive side of the game.
Mm.
But you go to a big team like that, you're going to be a bit more defensive as it is anyway. Leicester have conducted some great business, but it could go either way this season with a lot of team signings.
Yeah.
I think the only reason I think Newcastle were a candidate to go down is purely due to the manager. I think Steve Bruce, 4 or 5 years ago, was a good manager in the Prem. I don't think he's that calibre anymore to compete in the Prem.
If we then filter down from the Premier League and we start looking into EFL, Championship and whatnot, Fulham, favourites for promotion. Can you see why, especially with their transfer business?
Got a good squad, and I think Fulham's business last year, I'm glad they didn't do what Sunderland done when Sunderland went down, which is when Sunderland signed the season before they went down, they kept all their players on a certain wage when they went down. They put it into a lot of players' contracts. If we go down, your wage is being ducked. Like, you're going to have a pay cut, which is good on financial aspects, because you don't really play players Premier League wages in their Championships, especially if you don't come straight back up. They've got a good squad. Losing Sessegnon to Spurs could could be a good sale in the long term, but right now I think he could have done with another year there, personally.
I think Sessegnon was set on a move.
Yeah.
I think that transfer was probably 2 years in the making.
Yeah.
And I think it was a weird one with Sessegnon because people were saying to me about him, and they go, yeah, you know, Ryan Sessegnon. But then, so when you go and see him in the Premier League, you want to see what all the fuss is about.
Yeah.
I know the team struggled, but he struggled as well.
Exactly. A lot of people were going, he didn't perform, he didn't light up the league. No one in that Fulham team lit up
But
the
then
league at all.
you look at it, yeah, like we say, Fulham struggled massively last season, but Mitrovic come out of his reputation intact. I know Ryan Sessegnon's still a teenager.
Exactly. That is the one thing. And it's a lot harder to play whether it's a left back or on the wing in the Prem than it is to score goals up top.
Potentially. But
because no matter if you get a free kick or a corner or anything like that, it's put into a box and you're as aerially dominant as someone like Mitrovic is, you're going to get chances.
Yeah, but I think, you know, going back to Fulham at the very tying down Mitrovic was key.
Yeah.
You know, I like their business very, very much. They have bought in some, like you say, kept the majority of their squad. You know, the likes of, I know he's probably injured at the minute, Alfie Mawson, who will be a very good Championship defender this season, especially. You know, getting Stefan Johansson back in, who I couldn't believe last season didn't get much of a run out in the Premier League because he was so key for Fulham in them getting up.
But that's the thing, when Fulham came up last year, they brought so many players in and tried to replace what they thought was a Championship team into a Premiership team with a whole lot of different players. It wasn't going to work. This is why I think Villa are going to stay up, because they haven't really done that. They haven't dismantled their whole squad.
I think, well, like we said, mentioned earlier, Villa let a lot go, so I think a lot of their transfer business was just replacing the ones that they've let go, and then they needed to actually buy players anyway. But you know, if we're going back to Fulham, Knockaert would be a class signing for them in the Championship. Cavallero has done it in that league as well when he was with Wolves. Harry Arter on loan, another very, very good signing. You know, he's played in the Premier League for a few years.
Yeah.
You know, he's played on the international stage as well, Republic of Ireland. So I like that a lot. Yes, we know losing Sessegnon would be a blow. Tying down Mitrovic key. Getting Kearney fit and keeping him fit will be so key for them. He's the guy that makes them tick. So I'm feeling good for Fulham. But a team that has come down and struggled the start of the season is Huddersfield.
Yeah.
You know, I think their transfer business didn't excite me from a team that's just come down in the way that Fulham did.
You'd expect them to make a statement.
Yeah.
And be like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get straight back. Selling Aaron Moy to Brighton, who, by the way, Brighton have done some great business. Bringing in Aaron Moy,
I'm a bit...
Mapei, very good offensively, and with Graham Potter, I think it will work. But losing Aaron Moy at Huddersfield, he was so key to them at times last season, in the last couple of seasons, that losing a player like him doesn't just affect the team's performance on the pitch, it affects the fans as well. Because if you go to, like, as an Arsenal fan, I've been there just after Van Persie left, and Van Persie carried us that season, and you're there going, who's going to step up and who's going to do that end product and who's going to make this team work? Back then, the whole team stepped up. Are Huddersfield going to do it?
I don't know. I mean, bringing in Tommy Elphick on a free, as we mentioned earlier, great. I think that's a decent bit of business. I think keeping Congolo as to date will be a good one for them. Pritchard will probably be a very, very good player for them this season. I hope so anyway. He's done it before in the Championship with the likes of Brentford and Norwich, and that's ultimately what got him his move to Huddersfield in the end. Carlin Grant is the one, I know they bought him in January, but he's the guy that I see taking things on, especially in those forward areas of the pitch. Impressed a little bit I know Huddersfield struggled a lot in the Premier League last season, but I think Carlin Grant come out of it a little bit with a bit of a higher reputation, because I think now he's going into the Championship and I think he could do well for Huddersfield. It's just, can they supply him with the ball, obviously, like you say, losing Aaron Moy, who was the big supply line, is going to hurt them. But, you know, like I said, they've got Pritchard, they've even got Van La Parra out wide and players like that. So it'll be an interesting one for Huddersfield. Like I say, they've not exactly started the best, but hopefully they can turn it around. It's still very, very early in
it's very
the
early.
Championship.
First couple of weeks of the season, they should. They're not going to do. They're not going to have a poor season. I don't think they'll go automatically back up.
No.
I think they'll be around the playoffs, personally.
The other side that come down, Cardiff, not really heard too much about them. Obviously, I know they've brought in, you know, like sort of Gavin White and Marlon Pax, but I think Cardiff, it was by and large a Championship squad last season, and by the looks of it, they're just adding a little bit
to out the squad.
Yeah.
Just keep it going.
But then with Neil Warnock, you've always got a chance of promotion, I think, with Cardiff. Then, you know, teams coming up from the Championship, you know, Charlton, I think they've done some decent business.
I'd expect to see Charlton challenging around mid-table, pushing a bit higher. Give them a couple of seasons, they could be a force again, because they've never been a bad side. They've never been great. Their business this summer, not bad.
Not bad. I think one team that has struck me in the Championship is Wigan. And their business, getting Kiefer Moore in from Barnsley is probably the most underrated signing in that division, because Kiefer Moore last season for Barnsley in League One was bagging goals for fun, left, right, and it was almost, you know, Barnsley score. Barnsley score it. By and large, it would be Kiefer Moore. So that is a signing that I think. You know, I messaged a friend of mine and told him you've done very, very well to get Kiefer Moore in. And I think Wigan as well. Obviously, they got rid of some of the players that were still sort of loitering about from when they come up from League One. I think that was natural. That was sort of a natural thing to happen with them staying up. But what I also like about Wigan is, yes, they've got new owners in, but they haven't bankrolled it straight away and just gone, we're going to go silly and spend crazy money straight away. So I'm not. I'd like to think we're gonna make a push at least for mid-table this season.
Yeah, they could do.
So I think that'll be a very, very good season. I think Luton been a bit of a harsh window for them. Obviously losing James Justin and Jack Stacey, but got very, very good money for them.
Yeah, very good
money. You know, 12 million for the pair is good.
You look at that for Luton, 12 mil, done very well recently to come up how they have. 12 mil for two players it'll go a long way in terms of getting more players in for them as well.
Yeah, but I think as well, like you say, trying to keep rolling with this momentum thing of, you know, back-to-back promotions and whatnot over the last sort of couple of seasons, which is you know, fantastic achievement. But again, I think, you know, struggled early part of the season and whatnot. But I'm hoping anyway that Luton turn it round, because, you know, they have been over the years, as everybody knows, shafted a little bit with what's happened to them.
They have been. It's been, for them to come up the way they have last two seasons, it's been phenomenal, especially for a lot of their fans. I know a fair few of their fans. I used to work with them for my sins. Very good lads. They're happy with the squad and how they're going. And the struggle at the start of the season might just be that step up from coming from two back-to-back promotions to playing against players that are maybe not that much cut above their level, but there's that different step up. It's like when we saw Derby when they came up to the Prem a few years back and only got like 11 points. It was the players not being able to get themselves to that level. But I don't think Luton will have that problem.
Hopefully not, anyway. Moving into League One, a signing that caught my eye straight away. Pompey signing John Marquis from Doncaster, because similar to Kiefer Moore, if Doncaster scored, it was John Marquis. And obviously, yes, they had the setback of losing in the playoffs last season, but I strongly believe that Pompey will go up. Yes, they lost Jamal Lowe to Wigan, who, again, that is another great bit of business by Wigan. 4
Yeah.
million for Jamal Lowe. It's cracking signing. But I think, and again, yes, they lost Matt Clark to Brighton, but I still believe Portsmouth have enough to go up.
Yeah, to push it. A sign that's excited me, especially being both us from MK Dons bringing back Ben Reeves.
Yes,
Very good signing. It was good for him when he was with us previously. Very good on the ball. Technically, he's different class. It'll be a very good sign for them. Hopefully, he can push them to try and push for promotion.
Yeah, I just think the key with Reeves is keeping him fit, because I
Yeah.
think towards the end of his first spell especially,
Yeah,
a lot of injuries, and it was almost that, did he really want to play? Obviously MK Don's struggling. Is it
Yeah.
sort of easier to just go,
got a little knock,
little twinge this
yeah.
week, I don't really fancy or whatever. I think one that has hit the ground running, MK Dons anyways, here in Boateng.
Yeah,
Seems to be one that is getting a lot of rave reviews. Got him on a free from Exeter, obviously. The manager Tisdale knows him well from his time at Exeter, obviously brought him in there. But yeah, I think he when I've seen Exeter play, especially when they were getting into the playoffs and whatnot, he was the standout player.
yeah. It could be very exciting times for Dons. If they push for promotion, if they get it, could be very exciting times. Look at, they haven't had a breakout player since Delhi. I remember me and you going to watch Delhi when he ripped up United.
I mean, that was the game that Dele Alli arrived.
That was
But you just the thing that got me with that particular transfer is that if that was if that was a Fergie Man United team, yes, you could argue the fact that they probably wouldn't have lost in the first place.
Yeah.
Because, and a lot of people don't actually realise this, there was 8 full internationals out of that.
Yeah.
night. 8.
You had De Gea in goal, who got absolutely mocked by Benicofove
And Will Grigg.
and Wilbrook. He's on fire, lad.
Yes.
You had
Johnny
Daley
Evans.
Blind, Johnny Evans,
Januzaj.
Tom Cleverley played as well.
Tom Cleverley played that night. You had Welbeck and Hernandez.
Yeah,
playing.
they didn't put out a weak side. They put out a strong side, and Delhi ran the show that night.
Yeah.
Ben Reeves played well.
Yeah.
Fobe played well. Grigg played well.
But like I say, the thing that winds me up is if that was a Fergie Man United team, Dele Alli would be a Man United player after that.
Yeah.
After that game.
Yeah, it's like the whole when they signed Ronaldo. The
Yeah.
players are walking in at half time going, Gaffer, if you seeing he's making a mockery of us now,
Yeah.
get him on board.
Yeah.
Sort of
I
thing.
mean,
Like,
Dele Alli had that night. Anderson, who's a former Golden Boy winner, yes, his career's probably dive bombed. I don't know if it's since Dele Alli's had him in his pocket or whatever, but
he's still not out of Delhi's pocket. Let's be honest.
To have a former Golden Boy winner in your pocket like that.
All game as well.
And the thing was, Dele was a teenager.
Yeah.
And he walked off the best player on the pitch against, like we just said there, 8 full internationals.
Yeah.
I
remember sitting next to a bunch of United fans that night, and I was a little bit in shock. Just their faces were like, we've just been torn up by, what was he, 17, 18?
think it was about 18, 19. Yeah, 18,
And
19.
you're sitting there going, and that January, Poch has just come in and just done.
Get him. Go get him.
Just him. I want him. Loan him back for the season, and then I'm not going to get too much into Delhi because I know you fanboy over him.
Listen,
But
I could speak about Dele Alli
for years.
all day, all night, and for me, this is probably for another time, but I think he is undervalued as a footballer.
I would put him above Kane as England's best player.
I think,
and you love Harry Kane.
I mean, listen, Harry Kane is probably one of the best number 9s in world football. I don't think there's many all-round strikers like Harry Kane is out there at the minute, but
But you look at Delhi, he's good. He had not this season, just gone, the season before, his best attacking output, and he came back the season just gone, put up even better attacking output, as well as putting up better defensive output. He's mixed from a number 10 to a flying 8 to a holding player to a false 9. He can do anything.
Delhi can do a lot, but I think what people were expecting of him last season was for him to, because obviously the season before hit 20 plus goals,
Never
everything
also
like
the
that.
World Cup.
But I think what people were expecting from Dele last season was that, yeah, go do it again. And yes, you probably could level that at him and go, right, come on and be consistent as a player. Be consistent as a midfield player. But I don't think people realise he's still only 23.
Yeah.
So he's still he's still a young player. But actually, the way Tottenham played last season, we played a lot with a diamond, and Dele was out on the left a lot of the time. Whether he popped up in those sorts of areas.
He was pushed into a position that wasn't natural to him, and he still performed.
His role changed massively. But I think
some of the best midfielders to ever play, if they scored 20 goals in a season, they were winning awards, they were winning trophies. Dele did it, and everyone just went, all right then.
Dele done it and got slated for it.
Yeah.
But, Dele's role changed last season, and not many people realise that. But, obviously his standout game was probably the Chelsea at home, or Chelsea at Wembley game last season, where it was a case of, right, I think Poch just got it spot on tax and just went, right, Dele, you go and sit on Jorginho. Because he's gone, right, if we and the analysis guys as well, by the way, need to take some credit for this. It's like, right, you sit on Jorginho, you stop Jorginho, you stop Chelsea.
Yeah, and that's what it was. Like, you look at it when Chelsea came to see Emirates, and everyone was saying to me before that, Chelsea going to walk the floor with you, Chelsea going to mop you. I was like, I said 2-1, ended 2-0. Someone literally went, Rambo, we know you're leaving in the summer, it's alright, just sit on Jorginho for 90 minutes and you're solid, mate. And from first whistle, you sit on him, you make it hard for Chelsea to play last season, and you weren't going to get the best Chelsea on that night. And Dele did it. Poch, this is why I say Poch is one of the best managers in the world, because he looks deeper into it. He's got that pep mentality where he goes, I'm not happy with just the standard that everyone goes to. You can look at the underlying numbers, he'll look at the bottom things that make a club tick, and he'll stop it however he can. Yeah.
Back on task anyway, because I think we went off slightly there.
A little bit of a tangent.
Just a little bit.
That's what happens when you start talking about Dele, isn't it?
Well, you mentioned it, not me. If we move into League Two then, and I think a signing for me that is probably, I mean, there is probably some reasons as to how they've got him, but Richie Towell at Salford, dropping down from Brighton, I mean, we all know the Class of '92 story, the financial backing that Salford have with them, but I think to get a player of that calibre who was on loan at Rotherham for 2 years and did well, so I think Salford have got a real coup with him.
Salford are going to be a surprise this season. I don't think everyone's got a lot of hype around them anyway because of who they're owned by. On the pitch, I think they'll be a lot better than what people were expecting.
I think personally Salford on the pitch are going to be different to what they, and I think that's going to come from the manager.
Yeah. The
manager himself, Graham Alexander, very, very steady as a player, but I think tactically, I wouldn't say got it wrong at times last season when they were in the National League, but I think he wanted to play a certain way, but then realised actually I can't do it because the opposition, I wouldn't say don't allow him to, but they just didn't. The opposition were just interested in, so I think he quickly, opposition were just in on, tackles. Yeah. I think that league is a very physical league, so I think he went, right, we're going to have to battle first and then play, which is what he wanted to do, which is play. They've come up, I think they've had a bit of a mixed bag in terms of, the start to the season, but I think Salford, they are one of the favourites to go up, and probably rightly so, but I think Salford, playoffs would be a very, very good season for them. Yeah.
I think the hype around them will be the thing that drops them off in a lot of people's expectations. So people are going, they're owned by the Class of '92, they're going to do this, they're going to do that, they're going to do this, and then when they don't hit it, people are going to be like, what's going on?
Yeah, well, it could almost be that they lose a game, it's a crisis.
Yeah.
But I think, like I say, the manager's very level-headed and whatnot. And I think I saw them first game of the season against Stevenage, played really, really well. Really well. I think they played with the back three that day and used the wing backs very, very well.
See, I didn't see their opening game. I saw them against Leeds. They weren't bad against Leeds. My boy Eddie Nketiah come on and scored. Very happy. He played very well that game. That's another thing I didn't touch on. Leeds have had a decent transfer window. I think Salford could do. They could get promotion this season, but also with the hype around them, it could go either way.
Yeah, and I think, obviously Salford coming up from National League, Leyton Orient come
Orient
up as
are
well.
back.
Obviously losing the manager Justin Edinburgh, God bless him, and whatnot. But I think they are trying their very best at the very least to keep the momentum that they had from last season. I think they've just signed, I think it's George Marsh from Spurs on loan, which, George Marsh was playing in pre-season for Spurs against Juventus, Bayern Munich, Man United, Inter Milan, four European heavyweights.
Yeah, big teams.
And did very, very well in all of those games. Yes, he was probably hoisted out of position a little bit and played at fullback. He is a central midfielder by trade. But that is probably that's quite an astute loan signing, I think, for Orient. And, it's good to see them back in the Football League after the troubles that they've had and whatnot. So, yeah, I'm hoping that Orient can have a good season. But I think, speaking of troubles, we can't go too far. It's far enough anyway in terms of geographically from Leyton Orient, but we're going back up to the northwest anyway with Bolton and Bury. Difficult times for them. Obviously Bolton have lost virtually everybody, and they're playing the kids. But with Bury, it's a very, very interesting situation because they lost a lot of players to Plymouth. They lost the manager as well, so I think that's probably a big pull for some of the players, so I think, and whatnot. But there's real trouble at Bury. They could be out of the league by Friday. But I think mentioning Plymouth, actually, they've done some very, very good business.
Yeah,
like I think, like you say, the manager pulling a lot of the players from Bury, and whatnot.
For Bury's sake, I hope they can get their stuff sorted. A good club. Don't really have anything against them. They're not a Sunderland. They're not a team that has that history of a bad side of the game. Very good side. Don't really deserve what they're going through, but it happens to clubs. You see clubs bounce back. Look at Rangers. What happened to them? Bounce back. Already back in the SPFL. Hopefully they can get their stuff sorted and we'll stay in the league.
Hopefully, we hope so anyway. But they'll be playing catch up because I think 5-6 games into the season, they've not kicked a ball.
Yeah.
Been thrown out of a cup competition as well. The Carabao Cup. So yeah, it is slightly worrying. And it's even more worrying when you hear players saying that they might lose things such as houses and cars, and that's it's not
starting to affect
right.
people's livelihood, and that's where it's gone too far.
Yeah, but I think for me, people that I feel for are people that are working
in the shop and stuff like that.
The non-playing staff.
Yeah.
Not just regarding the first team or academy,
because
but
you lose a job at a low level, like in the club shop, and like some of them might be starting out in their careers, or some people might have been there like their whole life. Their whole life has been devoted to that club and doing a job at that club. You lose that. It's not just you losing a job. It's you lost everything around you.
Yeah.
So I know they do it at Southampton anyway. Obviously the club shops close during match time. A lot of the people get like an allowance to go and grab food while they're there and watch the game. So it's not just they're losing a job, they're losing a way of life.
Yeah.
In that. So hopefully they can get something sorted and they can. Bolton on the other hand.
Yeah.
It's a massive fall from grace from what they once were with the likes of JJ Okocha up there, Sam Allardyce. They had a very, very good team. Kevin Nolan in there as well. Such a fall from grace for them.
Bolton were playing in Europe.
Exactly.
Not so long ago.
What, 10, 15 years?
And now they had to postpone their game in this week over fears for young players playing a couple of games in a week. Well, for me that's a strange one because first team players do it. So
And let's face it, at that
why
age,
couldn't-
you are more able to do it.
yeah, I mean, as an my experience as a player, I've played 3 or 4 games in days, in the same amount of days, really.
Exactly.
But it's such a weird one with Bolton, like you say, massive fall from grace. But then actually, by and large, I think everybody's sort of saying to them, the players that are getting out there, fair play to you.
Yeah, fair play for giving it a go and
they've
not giving up.
Yeah, they held Coventry to a point and whatnot. Yes, it's their only point of the season, but I don't think anybody's expecting anything from Bolton until they get their financial stuff sorted. And speaking of Cov, they have had a very, very interesting window, I think. Gone down the foreign route with 2 wingers in Castanier and Gibello, who, by the way, are going to be outrageous in League One. They're going to be outrageous in League One. How they are Championship wingers.
Yeah.
Playing in League One.
They're going to be turning it up, and then you're going to look at it. If Cov don't go up, which you never know in these leagues, they'll be picked up by someone in the Championship.
Yeah.
And they'll tear up the Championship.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, they lost Tom Bayliss to Preston, who was a key player for them. But I think they've done good business in other areas of the pitch. Getting Darbo on a free from Chelsea.
Yeah.
Good right back, good young right back. McFadzean at centre half, bit of experience in there as well. Like I mentioned, they're the 2 wingers who will tear up the league. I've got no doubt about that. So yeah, I'm hoping for good things from Coventry and whatnot moving forward. But one thing I do want to mention, Connor, is, and I don't think a lot of fans really know this about transfers, it's that transfers don't happen overnight.
No, they don't.
It's not a case of your recruitment department coming in on whenever they return to back for pre-season training, going, right lads, who are we signing today? That's just why I mentioned earlier about the Sessignon deal probably being 2 years.
Well, I was
away.
listening to an interview with the CEO of StatsBomb, Ted Knutson, and he was saying that when he worked with Brentford and stuff like this, and he worked with Midtjylland, their recruitment base, they were planning 6 months in advance for the type of player they want to go and get. So at the higher level, at Prem level, they'll already have possibly even a year into the future of, okay, this is the type of player we want to sign, this is the age bracket they need to be in, this is what they need to do, it's not like where you go on FIFA and you go, I'm going to sign a winger who can cut in and is first in quality, and you go and sign like that.
Yeah.
It's going to take months in sort of getting, so Sessignon took 2 years to come through. Look at Kieran Tierney. It was done kind of quickly from the deal being agreed to getting it over the line. But we started approaches end of May, start of June, and didn't get it done till the 8th of August.
Yeah.
Like, that's still a long time. It's not done quickly because there's so much to go through. It's like why a lot of, especially abroad, with the Dybala deal falling through at some clubs being over image rights.
Yeah.
There was so much more to a transfer than getting him in, getting the medical, getting the signed papers.
Yeah, definitely.
Because what's that? I can't remember the. It's an Algerian winger, plays for Benfica. He's third party owned.
Right.
They were saying basically, if you're third party owned, you go in, you make a deal with the club, and say you're third party owned. I come to your club and go, I'm gonna pay 20 million for this player. The club can go, yes. Then you've got to go to the third party ownership and go, I'll give you 20 million as well for this player. Third party ownership can go, nah, we want more. You've got to go all the way back and renegotiate with the club first before going to third party ownership. And that's just how it works. Sometimes it's like that, and it's the same with image rights.
Yeah, and I think as well, like you say there, these deals don't happen overnight, as we've sort of said there. But I think it's, if you're in the recruitment department, it's, I think we've seen with, especially with the documentaries like at Sunderland and whatnot. They had a short list for players, but they included Ibrahimovic and also Ainsley Maitland-Niles as a loan deal. So is that recruitment department not communicating properly? I would probably, based off of that, I would probably say no.
But it's
as a scout, or if you're working in recruitment, it's you file your reports in to these players, to heads of recruitments and whatnot, and you might go sign him, but you might not see that player until maybe 3 years later, and then they go that was based off your recommendation. There will always be the recruitment departments now will be working for probably the summer transfer. Obviously they'll have their targets for January
like they would have
needed.
identified if they needed what they've got. But you also look at that, like Mourinho a year or two ago went Maguire. We want Maguire. Moyes, when he was at Sheffield United, wanted him. So it's taken from Moyes' era all the way to now, which we're looking 4, 5, 6 years.
6 years.
6 years, yeah, 6 years this year, wasn't it? To get him through the door. Sometimes it takes that little bit longer. It's like with the Griezmann deal to Barca. I'm not a fan of it, but fair play, Barca. You've spent 120 million on a player who isn't going to change their team. But you were looking at it a year to 18 months ago. They were going, we want Griezmann.
Yeah, definitely. But, if we're going down the European route, as soon as you were on about Griezmann, is there anybody, or is there a transfer in Europe that has caught your eye?
I like João Felix to Atletico, not for the money, don't get me wrong. I would love to have been on that board at Benfica and walking in one morning and just going, they paid the buyout clause. Really? Did they have a massive sesh or something and actually come in and pay it? Absolutely unreal that they paid the buyout clause. But you look at him pre-season, start of La Liga, he's played well and he looks like he's fit in quite well. So I'm happy about him. The one transfer that I despise, big name transfer anyway, is the Griezmann one.
Tell us why.
Age at 27, he's coming off his worst season to date. He's not what Barca needed. Barca needed someone who was going to come in and completely change their front line. And they have a player like that anyway, Ousmane Dembele. They just don't play him. You've literally got them chasing Neymar for no reason at all. And we're filming this, Wednesday the 21st of August?
Yeah.
They've just pulled out of the deal basically. But what Griezmann does is a poor man's version of Messi, without the dribbling. Basically, because Messi on the ball is absolutely unreal. I was listening to someone doing an interview the other day and they went, we're pretty sure he's autistic because there is no way he can function like this and not have something. He's outrageous. Best player to walk on this planet. Easily. I'm not having anyone. You're not coming out here with Musa Sissoko.
I'm not having him. No. I would agree with Lionel Messi for sure. I mean, the whole Messi Ronaldo debate. I've seen them twice. I've seen them both in roughly the space of a year. Ronaldo didn't particularly deliver for me. I know it was a game in which, the scorelines were completely different. Obviously, Tottenham beat Real Madrid and lost to Barcelona, but
he made a mockery of you.
I'd never found myself watching Ronaldo when Tottenham were playing Real Madrid. Yet when we played Barcelona, I found myself watching Messi.
I've watched Messi score a hat-trick, and I sat there and just went, there is no way he should have done that. But back onto Griezmann, there is one thing that you need to see. StatsBomb are releasing articles on Messi based on segments of his career. They've done the first 4 years and then the Pep 4 years at the moment. And literally Ted Newsom was talking about it in an interview and he went, I literally sat there one day and just went, should we just break down the whole of Messi's career? And they went, yeah, right then. And they did it. And some of the stats, there was one stat. So what would you say is a good dribble amount in a game? 4 or 5 dribbles a game?
Yeah.
One game, he completed 22 dribbles in a game. Barca didn't even win it, they drew 2-2. 22 dribbles. 2 players in that game got dribbled past 6 times a piece. I would have retired there and then. It's an absolute joke. He walked on at 16, 17 and automatically become the best dribbler in the world. And already he's got the passing, it's unreal. I saw him mug off Almunia standing still.
Yeah. For me, that was a personal highlight.
Yeah.
But I mean,
back onto Griezmann before I get carried away.
Yeah.
wrong type of profile for a play. They wanted someone who would get in behind, stretch the defence, and also be able to create. Ousmane Dembele can do that. He might not be the finisher that Griezmann is, but then you're looking at it, you're now going to be putting square pegs into round holes at Barca. You've got a 33-year-old Suarez. He's in his early 30s, Messi. At some point he's going to drop off, I don't know when, but I'm sorry.
Remains to be seen because
it was like Ronaldo came out today and was like, I could retire this year, or I could retire when I'm 41, and they're like, it's unreal, like, you wouldn't expect it. Like Teddy Sheringham doing it a few years ago, everyone was like, he's 40, he should be at home in bed, sort of thing. But like, you wouldn't be surprised if they did it, like, and then you're looking, where are you going to play Griezmann? Because you're not going to play him as number 10.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to play him on the right because Messi's going to be there. You're not going to play him through the middle because Suarez is going to be there. Why are you going to play him on the left? Like, he won't work on the left. I think he'll be rotated with him and Suarez, but then you could have gone out and got a much younger striker. You could have gone out and got Timo Werner at about 50 million.
You could have got João Felix.
Could have got João Felix for that money as well. But if you wanted a lights-out attacker, which they were saying they wanted, why are you going to go and spend 120 million on someone who's more of a creative forward than a lights-out finisher?
I think it seems that in Spain with the big two, if one makes a move and if Real Madrid go and get a Galactico, like
Barca
they did with Hazard, Barca, then it's right over to you, what are you going to do? And they identify Griezmann as that particular player.
I'm looking forward to seeing how Barca line up when Messi comes back, because he had his first full training session today after obviously being absolutely shafted at the Copa America, but we're not going to talk about that. I don't want to get into trouble for speaking out about that, because I'm a massive fan of Brazil and Argentina, but yeah, definitely got shifted. Because you look at it, I don't think Busquets is going to get as many minutes. Frankie de Jong, he's literally a Swiss Army knife. I'm pretty sure at times Ajax just turn around to him, and even the players would just turn out and just gone, you know what, go out there and just fix us. Because there was things he was doing. It was the game against Juve, where was it? Bentancur was sat on him. He was like, at times I was chasing shadows. What do you mean at times? The whole 90 he was chasing shadows. He was picking it up. People were going, oh, he's going to be sat between 25-30 yards from his own box just spraying balls. So Bentancur was like, yeah, I've got this. And all of a sudden he's picking the ball up on the edge of the 6-yard box, running 30 yards and pinging a pass. And you're there going, you're 22, you shouldn't be doing that. Like, you should be just a midfielder. He's not just a midfielder, he's literally can go out there and do anything. And you're looking at their midfield options. Busquets, aging out, still good player in La Liga, it's fine with that. Frankie de Jong, Rakitic, good player. I think the Barca fans are a bit too harsh on him. You've got Arthur Melo in there, who is outrageous. Like, you're looking at that as just 4 centre mids, and you're going. Then you've also got to fit in Suarez, Messi, Griezmann, Ousmane Dembele, Malcolm if he ever gets into that side.
He's gone to Zenit, so he's
Oh,
probably
yes,
not
he
going to
has.
fit in that side.
That's a transfer that I've completely forgot about. That's a good pick up for Zenit, to be fair. That's one that's completely flown me by. Scrap that. But you're thinking, you've got 4 midfielders who could easily walk into most sides, and 4 attackers that would easily walk into most sides. What system are they going to play? So they've also got, I don't like Jordi Alba being given a big contract, because he basically held him to ransom over that contract. He went, you're rather going to let me go, or you're going to give me what I want. And they ended up giving him what he wanted, which was outrageous. You've got even Sergio Roberto, not a right back, centre mid, but we'll go with it. Could fit in anywhere. That Barca team could, if they got in De Ligt or Rabiot this summer, and we'll move on to Juventus instead, because their business is outrageous. If they got in De Ligt or Rabiot, I would have put them down as hands down best summer window. Because to turn over that squad, I just don't like the Griezmann deal. Going on to Juventus, take it away, Sam.
Best summer?
Best summer.
Best window?
Best easily. Apart from the Ramsey deal.
They've got a few options, haven't they, Juventus?
Just a few. They could
De
still
Ligt.
bring in more.
De Ligt is the outstanding probably transfer. A man at 19.
He's not just he's a unit.
He's a man. He's not a 19-year-old boy. He's a 19-year-old man, and there is a massive difference between the two. But he watched him last season, and he will be the best centre half in the world. I have no doubt about that.
It's like you look at it like Van Dijk was brought in to do a job at Liverpool and did it. Maguire's been brought in to do a job at United and could well do it. And they've both been brought in for big money. You're looking at De Ligt at, what was it, about 67.5 million euros was what we were told. If that's true, you've got him for 5 years. No club is going to come out and buy his buyout clause.
No, it's probably ridiculous.
It's at minimum, even if he has a bad season at 120 million, I think it was sort of set at. Mino Raiola, I don't care what people say about him, and it's the same with Jorge Mendes. They will always do the best by their clients. I rate that very, very highly of them. You're looking at, if you want De Ligt, you're waiting 5 years. No matter what, he's not leaving Juventus before that contract is finished. He might run it down and then go to Barca or Madrid. I'm glad he didn't go to PSG, because you look at it, if you go to Juve, you're a defensive league where defenders are loved. And if you go to PSG, you're just another player. Look at Thiago Silva when he went there. Thiago Silva was the best centre-back around when he went there, and no one heard of him since. Because well done, you get another clean sheet against a bunch of farmers. Oh, no.
But then I think, Juventus going into midfield,
it's outrageous. The one deal I don't like, and coming from an Arsenal fan, it hurts me saying this, is the Ramsey deal. Not because you brought in Ramsey, because Ramsey's a very good player, probably Arsenal's best player last season.
Yes.
Up there with Aubameyang. And I love Ramsey, always have. But for the money he's on, or reportedly on, I just don't see the reason of doing it.
I mean, his agent's done
Absolute
well.
wonders.
But
he needs to be my agent going forward.
Juventus's options. I mean, they brought in Ramsey, who you think, that's a good signing, but they've decided to bring in Rabiot
as well. Then you got
Matuidi, you've got
Enwe Chan.
Yes.
You've got Khedira.
Yeah, Bentancur, as you mentioned earlier. Pjanic is still there.
And you've even got Dybala who could drop into midfield.
That's 8 options that we've...
8 options for maybe 2 or 3 slots.
Good luck, Sarri. And Sarri plays 4-3-3.
Yeah.
So you're looking at it, it's probably one holding, which is probably your Chan, Matuidi or Khedira. Yeah. And then 2 in front.
Well, to be fair, you could put Rabiot in there, but you look at Rabiot's numbers, he played under 900 minutes at PSG last year, which is just under 10 games, so I think he got subbed off in one of the last games that he played for him after his fallout with him. And he was completing 9 dribbles a game, creating 4.2 chances a game. It was outrageous. And he's gone there on a free. You look, my personal, that front 5 it's basically going to be, with one of those players holding, is going to be out. Well, look at it, depends if he plays. You could play a 4-3-3, or you could go to a 3 at the back and play with high wing backs.
But then I think Sarri was very set on playing 4-3, because if he was going to play with 3 at the back, he could have done it at Chelsea, because they'd just come off of. I know they won the league the season before, but they didn't have their best season that season. So the second season that they really sort of had 3 at the back, but they had the players to be able to do it at Chelsea, and he said, no, this is the way, this is my playing style, and this is how we're going to do it.
But the thing that I don't get is letting João Cancelo go. Best fullback in the league last year, stats wise. Started to lose favour with the manager, who was obviously left towards the end of the last season. Then it's gone to City, which is a great sign. We didn't pick up on that one as much as we should have. Losing him, there's a set down of 2 deep progressions per game. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I was listening to a podcast the other day, and it was like 2 deep progressions between him and the other right back. So they are losing a lot going forward. And if you look at all the Sarri systems, you had that at Napoli. You had Gulan and Insigne. You had at Chelsea. You had Emerson or Alonso and Hazard. You're looking at it this year. You're going into Juventus. You would flip that and have João Cancelo and Dybala. That's if Dybala stays there, because apparently he's now into talks with Bayern and PSG. Personally, to let him go to favour Ronaldo, who is 34, is crazy. That's if they let him go. They might not.
Yeah, I don't. Obviously, I was hoping Dybala would rock up at Tottenham.
I was getting gifs off of you of Dybala celebrating.
Yeah, because there was a good chance it was going to happen. Obviously, it didn't happen for one reason or another.
They put it down to the image rights thing, but I think the wage he wanted was what turned United's head. It could have been the wage he was after to step from the project that's at Juve to a different project.
Yeah, but I think, if from Spurs' perspective, anyways, because we know Tottenham have I wouldn't say a strict wage structure. I think it's been moved slightly, but it is still fairly strict. But to have a player of Dybala's stature, standing, and quality become available, I don't care who you are. You break your wage structure and you go and get him.
You move heaven to get that.
To get him.
You just have to do anything you can in your powers to get him. I'm interested by their midfield. I'm not too interested in their attack, because you look at it, Dybala's worst season of his career was last year. Only 5 goals in the league. It's the first time in 3 or 4 years that he scored less than 10. But that is down to a massive reason that someone is playing in his position and taking up all his shots. And that man is Cristiano Ronaldo.
I think Ronaldo's deserved it.
Yes.
To be honest.
Yeah. But then you've also looked at it as, if Ronaldo does drop off at some stage, he's 34, he will do at some point. And he started to at Madrid, that's why he moved into the number 9 role. Because he hasn't got the blistering pace anymore. If he does start dropping off and starts missing chances, the person you're gonna go to is Dybala. And do you really want to go from the summer? Say Ronaldo has what he had a couple of seasons ago, where for the first 3-4 months of the season, you got nothing out of him. Are you really going to turn around to a man who you tried getting rid of in the summer and going, help me?
But then one player we haven't mentioned it either, or 2 in the forward line anyways, Mandzukic and Higuain.
Yeah.
Now we know Sarri loves Higuain.
Yeah.
So is Higuain going to get his chance? We don't know. Ronaldo, Sarri said he's going to be his man as well. He wants to turn him into a formidable number 9, if that is possible, considering Ronaldo's numbers over the past 15 years or so.
His numbers are outrageous, let's be honest. Still doesn't touch Messi, but we'll go over.
But is there a transfer or a player that maybe hasn't moved,
that could have,
that maybe should have, or are you surprised that a club hasn't picked them up this summer?
Well, I spoke about Stuttgart's midfielder, Santiago.
Yes. Anybody other than that?
Some people have said to me they're surprised Sancho hasn't moved. I'm not surprised Sancho hasn't moved. I don't think it was right for him. One player I am surprised that hasn't moved, seeing as he's now on to the last year of his contract, is Timo Werner.
Yeah.
Unless he gets a new contract, he'll be at Bayern by the end of the season. Bayern will do what they always do: come in, put an arm around the shoulder, go, look mate, this is where you're gonna go. This is what we can offer you. You're gonna be the next big thing, and he'll go there, which is gonna be a shame because I'm not gonna disregard the bully completely, but he deserves to be in La Liga or the Prem. He could go in there to almost any side in the bully and walk into a side. You could do that in the top 2 in La Liga, probably do that in most sides in the Prem. He's not just a good goal scorer, creates chances, run into the chance. He is the striker. If Chelsea didn't have a transfer ban, they would have picked up.
Potentially. I think for me, 2 players that stood out last season and haven't moved, or probably maybe 3. I'm going to go with 3 actually instead of 2, and they all play for the same team. Hakim Ziyech at Ajax is one. €25 million release clause.
How no
and
one's
I'm
picked him up
surprised that nobody has activated
Because-
it. Yes, we've still got the European window open, but how nobody in the Premier League, especially, is taking
That's
a
the
chance
thing.
on him.
Ajax promised him one more season and we'll let you go. He had that one more season. They went, okay, you can go, and no one's come in for him. And I purely put it down to the reason a lot of people haven't gone in for the Ajax lot is because Frankie and Matthias did absolute bits, and the spotlight was so heavily on them that the other players weren't as much in the spotlight.
Maybe, yes, it was about, like you say, Frankie de Jong, who I was watching a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
you know, playing at centre half,
Yeah.
and was arguably the best player on the pitch. Frankie de Jong, if anybody knows how tall he is, to play at centre back with that, but his reading of the game is just fantastic. And yes, De Ligt, as mentioned earlier, a beast of a man, even at 19.
He's not just a beast, he's a leader as well.
But
And
then
at 19.
another two for me, from Ajax, Donny van der Beek.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy, Connor, he can play as a 10, as he did a lot of last season. He can play as an 8. He can play as on the continent they call it a 6 as opposed to a 4, like we do over here. But he can do the lot, and I'm surprised at no, because his energy in midfield is fantastic. Yeah, got to repeat again that we've got about 10 or so days left of the European window, so he might get picked up by another European club. But again, how nobody in the Premier League has gone in for him is
How a lot of players have gone under the radar and haven't been picked up by Premier League clubs, and as a fan Premier League club, we stand there and go, we know what class is, we know who we're going to go after, we know what we need, and like not getting Ziyech at any club, any club in the top 8 in the Prem could have gone out there and got him, and it could have been like, if you look at it, if Leicester had gone out and got Ziyech instead of Iosi Perez, that's a different level above. That would be pushing top 6 entry level.
Yeah, definitely.
Van der Beek could have slotted into a top midfield quite easily.
If he ended up,
could you imagine if because we also didn't pick up on Lo Celso going to Spurs, by the way.
Yes.
You forgot about this.
Yeah. Well, you didn't really. You cut me off. You cut me off speaking about Spurs. So
I know what you're like. You can ramble, right? But you got. Could you imagine that midfield at Spurs being Lo Celso? Could you just imagine this sort of like front 4?
Okay,
midfield
hit me with it.
So Spurs midfield of Lo Celso, Ndombele, Van der Beek, Delia just behind, and then you've got Dybala and Harry Kane.
I mean, we're winning everything if we get that. But you know, you didn't mention Harry Winks, who I think is a fantastic footballer.
What, the Hemel Hempstead and Iniesta?
I'm thinking more of a Xavi kind as opposed to Iniesta. But I mean, how
he was integral to you lot last season, but yet again, I'm going to keep you away from the Spurs lot. I'm currently in the Spurs household as a gunner. So
and I think
away from that.
The last player from me anyway that hasn't been picked up and has actually just signed a new contract is David Neres.
Yes.
I mean, before his mate Justin Kluivert left for Roma, there was just a period where it was Neres on the right, Kluivert on the left, and cutting in and just doing an absolute madness on the Eredivisie. And I'm so surprised again that nobody has come in for him. It's going to be difficult now because he's just signed a new 5-year contract, but he could
have that thing where Ziyech got promised, where you sign this contract, you keep performing at this level, we'll let you go in a year or two's time. Because it could be like what Bale did to you lot, where it's like, I'll sign this contract and I promise that I go and I get you good money in.
There's a lot of other things with that Bale transfer, by the way.
I know.
Him refuse, because he bullied Tottenham into making him go to Real Madrid. Tottenham, I think at the time, was set on him going, not even staying, because he informed the club that he wanted to leave. But we were not set on him going to Real Madrid. Or actually, he wanted to go, but United had come in with a bigger bid, and Levy turned him down. So there was big interest from Man United, and Levy said no, and then Bale said, right, well, I'm not going to train. I want to go. Let me go, and whatnot. and like I say, United come in with very, very late interest. It would have been a world record bid anyway, like it was when Real Madrid come in for Gareth Bale. But it would have been your £100 million mark at that time in what, 2013. That's what
Talk to me about Gareth, because what is going on with this man's career?
He's not Cristiano Ronaldo, and he was supposed to be the one to fill his boots. He was the guy that was supposed to be to reach Ronaldo levels in terms of numbers and productivity, numbers, assists.
You look at his trophy cabinet, 3 Champions Leagues. What he scored in 2 finals.
Yes.
Winners. First season won the Copa del Rey on his own.
Yes.
At times has kept him in league challenges on his own when Ronaldo hasn't performed. Any other club that he's at and does that, legendary status, statue outside the stadium, loved and adored.
Yeah.
But it just happens to be the fact of he had someone in the same squad as him for a large period of time who was scoring 1.3 goals a game minimum.
Like I say, he wasn't Cristiano, but I think the Real Madrid fans thought he was going to be, and he is a different animal, so we say, to Cristiano. But like you mentioned there, his trophy haul and the fact that he scored the winner against Atletico Madrid in the Champions League final. He has probably scored. I'm not even going to argue with this now. I was going to say arguably, but he has scored the best goal in a Champions League final ever.
The one where Karius drops it, or the bicycle kick?
Well, you can decide on that one. For me, it's the bicycle.
The bicycle kick is unreal. I remember sitting out at one of our friends' house watching the game. Massive Liverpool fan.
Yeah.
I said to him before the game, 3-1.
I said 3-1 as well. I was watching it in a pub somewhere, and I said to my friend as well, I was watching it with at the time, I said, this will be 3-1. The amount of people for that final were going, oh yeah, Liverpool, I'm going to go in, Liverpool going to do this. I'm like, mate,
it's going to be 3. I said 3-1.
Madrid are going to win this 3-1.
Right, and then when Salah went off, I was there like, okay, this could go quite south quite quickly. Liverpool didn't perform too badly in that final, and then obviously Bale just decided to do an absolute madness.
It was Madrid's experience and game management that won them that game. But how, like you mentioned, how is somebody gonna have that medal haul? Yes, it's nice to win the medals, but to not really be appreciated. Yes, it's probably the league, the bread and butter, everything like that. Yes, Gareth Bale has had a lot of injuries since he's been at Real Madrid, and nobody can deny that.
It's 13 injuries since going there.
So, are the fans going, well, actually, he's not always consistent when he plays. He's not contributing to the team with that. He's injured. He's injured a lot.
But you say that, what about Asensio? He's loved by the fans. Hasn't done anywhere near what Bale's done.
No.
And Isco, but you've got to think about it, they're both Spanish.
There we go.
They've both done it in Spain on the international level as well. When Bale's come in from England, obviously being a Welsh boy, has come across and then had to not just impress by winning stuff and winning stuff comfortably, but had to impress as a foreigner out there as well. And
I don't know if it's a thing, because if we look back at the British players that have played for Real Madrid, David Beckham, won a lot, but look at how that ended.
Yeah.
Woodgate had an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, he did. Poor lad.
Michael Owen had an absolute nightmare there as well. I don't know if it's a British thing going to play for... British players going abroad, yes, we know there's a lot of young players doing that now.
But it wasn't really a thing.
It's not been a thing for ages, so have the British boys struggled out there? I don't know. Can they handle the pressure of playing for Real Madrid? More than likely, because those players that have gone were playing for massive football clubs to begin with.
Yeah.
Beckham was playing at Man United. Michael Owen was at Liverpool. Jonathan Woodgate was at Newcastle, I wouldn't say they've got a demanding set of fans, but
It's
a massive football club with a massive fan base.
You would have loved it. Kieran Dyer do a podcast, and he's talking about Jermaine Genius.
Yes.
And when he was at Newcastle, he was like, it is a fishbowl. Everyone knows you. You go out after a game, fans know you. Fans know what you're up to. They know everything about. So it's not just the pressure of playing for a club and being in a crowd of 52,000 fans, where if they get onto you, they get onto you. You can't go out in the street without being spotted.
Yeah. It's
like
a one club. It's pretty much a one club city.
Dyer was saying like JJ couldn't live with it.
Yeah.
And I don't think many people could.
Yeah.
And then to go from a club like, because Newcastle weren't a bad side back then.
No,
they were a very very good side.
They're playing in Champions League.
Exactly. And then to go from that to Madrid.
Yeah.
It is a massive step up.
Yeah.
Going to Madrid and going to Barca is a massive step up for most players. But to do it from a city where, because when Cesc did his thing after 6 months being back in Spain, it was like, yeah, people just let you do what you want. Like, you can walk about the streets with your family, where you you don't get that in England. So it might have been harder for him to adapt. I know it's apparently been really hard for Bale to adapt, but apparently he hasn't made it easy for himself as well.
There has been reports of him not learning the language.
Not spending time with teammates. It's like I got sent a meme the other day. It's like, new game coming out, Gareth Bale PGA Tour 2019. Where it's like, yeah, it's funny to laugh at, but like, he's been such a good player for so long, and whether it's injuries, whether it's not bonding with the teammates, or just the fans getting on his back. Because let's face it, what was it? It was the game after the El Clasico where Madrid got pummeled. Like, they were not good at all, but they let Modric, Kroos, Ronaldo, Benzema all leave, but attack Gareth Bale's car.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to sit here and out fans, I'm not going to do that, but is that because he was supposed to be the guy that took over from Ronaldo, and it's made it so much harder for him?
Yeah. Like I said, he isn't Cristiano Ronaldo, and I mean, you will probably have it at Arsenal where players come in and they just get stick for it because they're not another player. It certainly happens at Spurs.
Yeah,
Certainly does happen at Spurs.
It's like, I love Mesut Ozil. That man is a joy to watch. I've watched him since his Schalke days. He's such a great player, top creator in the Arsenal team. But people go, he's not Dennis Bergkamp. No, he's not. It's like when people sit there and go, Iwobi's not Robert Pires, and everyone wanted him to be Robert Pires because he's trained with Robert Pires. It's not going to happen. You're not going to get two players so similar to each other at one club, and you can't. It's like saying.
I mean, Spurs. We have it at Spurs. You know, we've had.
I was going to do the whole.
Trippier in the first instance got a lot of stick at Spurs because he wasn't Kyle Walker, and Kyle Walker, you know, over that time period was probably the best right back in the league.
Yeah.
And is England's best right back. You know.
You've got Saka breaks for it.
We've got even the left back side, even on the left, you've got Ben Davies, who would probably get into most sides in the league, majority of sides. If he's not going to start, he is not a bad option really as a backup to come in. He gets so much stick from Spurs fans because he isn't Danny Rose.
But then Danny Rose gets stick as well.
But Danny Rose got a lot of stick, and Danny Rose brought it on himself. By doing that interview, doing the interview that he done, where he said, I know what I'm worth. At the time, Danny Rose was injured, so he's actually not worth anything because we couldn't play him. We couldn't sell him because he would fail a medical because he was injured. You know, coming out and saying that, you know, I don't want to have to Google players that we sign. Right. Well, if you're a player hearing that, you're going, well, I don't want to sign for Spurs because. You know, he might not know who I am. What's he going to do? Go on Google. It's not a very good sort of first impression.
Yeah.
And whatnot. But, you know, there has been some things with Danny Rose over the last couple of years where you go, well, is he going to go or is he not? If he was fit when he done that interview, he would have been sold.
Yeah.
But he wasn't fit, so there's not a lot we can do about that. This summer was an interesting one because he got left behind on the tour in order to go and seek a move, which didn't happen.
Look at that. A lot of players have done that. Like, you could jump across the North London Divide. Koscielny.
He plays for the badge, though.
I was about to bring up that blinking advert. We play for the badge. We play for the badge. It's been. Don't get me wrong. He's been Arsenal through and through for 9 years. Done really well for the club, and sits there and goes, "I don't want to be here anymore." And it's not. I don't mind if a player doesn't want to be there. Let them go. But if your club captain, who you stuck by for so long, this is why I had a problem with the whole Van Persie thing when it originally happened. I've let it go now. About what 6, 7 years on.
Yes.
It's taken me a while, but I've got there, alright? And you sit there and you go, you stuck by you through the injuries, through the poor performances, getting you to, at one point, one of the best centre backs in the league. Not very consistent at the best of times. And he sits there and goes, yeah, you know what, lads? I'm not coming on pre-season. I'm not going to train. I'm going to force a move. And the thing that got me was the unveiling.
I actually thought that was quite funny, but I could see why Arsenal fans especially would probably get wound up by it, given the fact that, like you say, there for 9 years and was club captain.
The thing that got me was I'm not sure if you've seen the interview afterwards where he sits there and goes, "Oh, I didn't want to do the unveiling video, but I did it anyway. If you didn't want to do it, you wouldn't have done it."
Yeah.
It's very simple. It's a lack of respect. It's like when Van Persie left, like we stuck through him with all the charges that went up against him. I'm not going to speak about that. The poor performances. He turned up at Arsenal on his first day. I remember sitting in the crowd at about, I might have been, 6 when he turned up in rainbow trousers. I'm sorry, but that is a warning sign at the best of times. Through the injuries, the countless injuries, the poor performances, then he had maybe a season and a half of really good performances and made him captain. And it's not even like he sat there and went, you know what guys, my time's my time, I've had enough. In the April, after scoring against Liverpool, he went, I want to be here, I want to win trophies at this club. And they're going, alright, that means you're going to sign a new contract, you've only got a year and a bit left on your deal, And he comes out week after the end of the season, doesn't even do a video going, look lads, I've decided my time's up, I don't want to be part of this plan anymore, I don't see a future, like on reading. He wrote a little letter and just went, I'm leaving, see you later. If you were friends with me at that time, I went for a dark stage. But
Seems like you've just got over it though. Just.
But I'm pretty sure you were the same, or your dad was the same when Sal Campbell left.
No, he wasn't. I still haven't let that go.
I know you haven't.
Only one Judas, and there will only forever be one Judas, and it's him. Broke my heart the day he left. The signed photo and everything, and just, I remember coming home from school, and as soon as I saw it, I threw it in the bin. It wasn't, okay, yeah, like you say, if you want to leave, you want to leave. It's the fact.
It's the way you do it.
It's the way he done it. Convincing every Spurs fan out there that he is going to sign a new contract, he is going to stay. And then
he was captain with you as well.
Captain, come through our academy as well, everything like that. And then
was he one of your own?
And then to turn up down the road,
it was a stroke of genius by Wenger.
But
in his
the thing is, he's turned up down the road, right? Players move, okay, we get that. But to do it on a free, we didn't even get anything from him. We didn't get anything from him, and yeah, that's the thing that hurts.
I remember
fans the most.
watching videos of him turning up for his first North London derby back at.
It was brutal. It was brutal, but he deserved it, and he still deserves it now. Still deserves because of the way it happened. You just don't do that.
You don't do that to a club that's stuck by you. You know my sentiments when Van Persie left.
We've just clearly stated that, so yeah, we know.
There's a way to do it. There's a way to leave a club.
I mean, Spurs could have it this window now, like with Eriksen. Yeah, he's come out and said he wants to try something new, and it's. I mean, he, as mentioned earlier, he changed the game when he come on against Villa. And so we have to keep him. But if he doesn't want to be there, then we've got to do something about it. So Spurs are in that situation again where I don't think, like I said earlier, I don't think we're losing on a free, but there is that, look, I want to try something new, I am open to leaving, it depends on obviously who comes in. I think Eriksen's set on a move to Madrid, but I don't think that will happen.
No.
I mean, he'll have some task getting in the, I wouldn't say getting in the Madrid midfield, but to either, you know, because they've got such, you know, Casemiro and Modric and Kroos and Isco and players like that.
It's hard for players like Isco and Asensio to get in that midfield. It's going to be hard for anyone to get in that midfield. It's like I heard someone tell a joke the other day. It was like, you're going to have like Zidane's grandkids trying to beat Modric and Kroos into that midfield.
Yeah.
Because they will not go anywhere.
No, they're just timeless footballers.
Yeah, exactly. But as we said, there's a way to leave a club, and Eriksen, he's come out and gone, I'm open to leaving, but if I stay, I'm happy I'm staying.
Yeah.
And that's the way you should go about it, in my personal opinion. Obviously, in some players' opinions, it's not.
Yes, in Judas's opinion, especially. Is there a signing for you that has just caught your eye, for like your signing of the summer? We're going to go for
my signing of the summer. I would go for Rodri at City. I could go for Tielemans at Leicester, who we didn't even pick up on.
No,
what a signing!
Very good player.
Looks like you. A little bit.
I'll take
She
that.
already claimed her fame, isn't it, at the moment?
No, I'll take that. I've not had that one.
Other than knowing Delhi a little bit, he looks like you when you were about 18.
I'll take that.
Absolutely nothing there.
Yeah.
And actually a decent Barnet.
Yeah.
It's questionable at the moment.
Yeah, just because you got a fresh trim for the camera. We didn't all have the day off today.
But this is going to be my only bit of bias in this one.
Go for it.
It's Danny Ceballos on loan.
I mean,
yes, it's a loan deal, and maybe you can say that, but a player of his quality coming to a club that at the moment, which hurts me a lot to say this, doesn't have Champions League football.
I'll say it. Say it.
To get a player of his quality in, who we've seen the opening games, changes the game. He's different. It's like he would be my signing. That's as a biased opinion. The signing of the summer, it was done in January, it was done very cleverly, is Frankie de Jong to Barca.
Yeah. I mean, as I mentioned earlier, watching Frankie and Ajax for a few years, and you know, watching him play as a holding midfield player and as a centre half, I think he can do both. I mean, watching him play for the Netherlands as well over the summer, and even watching him at Ajax when they played Spurs, he was fantastic.
He made Madrid, Juve and Spurs look like, you know when you go to school and the year 11s would play like the year 10s?
The year 7s. He
made you look like year 7s. It's like, have you ever been like a year 11 when you took the ball off the year 7s? It was like that. It was your children chasing them around.
Yeah, I mean, especially at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, it was like, we needed another ball. He wasn't getting the ball off Ajax, and he was so key to that night.
He was.
It was fantastic footballer.
Great player. Who's your signing then? I'll let you have a bias one, because I took a bias one. So I know you want to say Tango.
I mean, I'm just living for the Tangy Tuesdays on Twitter content. That is something that I signed up for.
I'm not going to like European football this year.
But a real statement of intent by Tottenham Hotspur to get somebody that's been courted by the biggest clubs in Europe.
And he's chosen
Tottenham.
He chose Tottenham on a couple of things. Playing for the team that lost in the Champions League final last year.
Okay.
That you got there. Fair play to you. You got there, you did your thing. Like, I was there when Arsenal lost their Champions League final. It hurt me. But I was very happy because it was the day after my 22nd this year that you lost the Champions League final. And the other reason, it was a great birthday present. Cheers to my son. Seeing your face on TV looking rather sad made my day.
Did I make you on telly?
Yeah, you did.
I didn't even know. I was too far in Madrid.
Pan on the screen, you could just see you and you were like,
I'm gonna have to try and dig that out.
Yeah, you're gonna have to.
Claim to fame.
Claim to fame. Other than being Daddy's friend and looking like Tielemans.
No, I think the statement
and the other
of intent
reason was Poch, because as I said, Poch, different class of manager.
I think with Tangier, it's, like you say, Champions League finalists, everything like that. It's almost that echo of Liverpool getting it in Fabinho, last summer, having done that off the back of getting to a Champions League final. I know people, and I'm gonna get a lot of comments on this about Spurs not winning a trophy, and yes, it has been a while, but realistically, would we have signed Ndombele because we've won a League Cup?
Not really.
Not really. So he's obviously seen something in us that goes, right, if we reach the Champions League final, they've got a really, really good manager in place, where can this team go? But if I'm going to take a non-bias signing of the transfer window, already mentioned him, I think Kieran Tierney, is the signing. He's just the modern day fullback. He's at a very good age, as we mentioned. He could be Arsenal's left back for the next 10, 15 years if he keeps himself
going. It's just the injuries.
He's got a bit of everything. Can defend very well. Very good going forwards as well. I probably have to mention Wan-Bissaka as well.
Yeah.
I ranted and raved about him last season to anybody that
anyone
would listen. And people are probably getting bored of me.
I was
doing
probably
it,
the only person that would have a 2-hour conversation.
But, I've done
an
an assignment for university, performance analysis assignment, where we got to basically pick a world 11 or an 11, and we had to justify why those players were in.
Did you have Wan-Bissaka in about 12 different positions?
I had him in as the right
back. It's only
back.
11, but you had him on the bench as well.
Yeah, he was a manager and everything. But no, Wan-Bissaka
bits.
made the cut, and I took it in the context of almost working at Spurs in the recruitment department. Is there 11 realistic signings that we can go and get? Wan-Bissaka made the cut. But yeah, he's going to be, could be Man United's left back for the next decade or so. Wingers don't like him, as the chant goes from the Palace fans, which is probably the best chant I've ever heard. Those two, but if I was just going to edge it, I'd probably say Tierney, just because of what he's come off the back of at Celtic.
Yeah.
I know the league up there isn't the strongest, but to be able to go in Tierney's time, a season unbeaten and win a treble, good experience playing in Europe as well, with Celtic, played Champions League, played Europa League, and I just think it was just an astute bit of business from Arsenal, like I said earlier, signing that they need, position that they needed, and they've gone and got a really, really good player.
You look at it, both the players that we picked as our best signs of the summer, good age profile, fixes a problem that the club needed, but can also fix multiple problems if problems arrive.
I'm hoping Tanji does it. Because I think there was a massive hole at Spurs when my greatest of all time, Moussa Dembele, when he left.
That left a hole in your heart that still hasn't healed.
Yeah, he was just phenomenal every game. I was ranting and raving about Moussa Dembele long before a lot of people was. Seeing him control a 3-man Arsenal midfield that had Xhaka, Wilshere and Ozil, and had them all under control.
We called that a 2-man midfield because Xhaka was in there.
Xhaka was the enforcer in that midfield. He's not an enforcement of a midfielder, but that derby at Wembley, that was the best. That was one of the best midfield performances that I've seen.
What was the score in that game?
That was 1-0 Harry Kane header.
Yeah. That's when you started calling Wembley your home, even though we've won more trophies there than you.
Wembley was never home, was it?
Well, a few fans wanted to call it home.
It was never, but I think, and Ndombele, speaking to people, he is the closest thing we're going to get to Moussa Dembele, but he's got that added extra, and that added extra is going forward.
Did you see the Tottenham fan speaking about Tottenham, Tanguy? He was like, if you put it in Pokemon talk, you've basically evolved Moussa Dembele and got a Tanguy. I was there like, that makes no sense, but yet sense at the same time.
Yeah, but he's done well initially.
Yeah.
And I think he'll end up being a really, really good signing for Spurs.
Fair play. I think before we cap off, I think they're gonna want to know, and I want to know, and you're probably gonna want to know mine. Top 4 Prem this season. and 3 to go down.
Okay, so my top 4 is going to be number 1, Man City. Can't see anybody just displacing Man City. The way that they play
They've also got De Bruyne back.
is on another. It's just you can't. There's not a lot you can do to stop Man City. I know Spurs were the only team to do it last season with a bit of help from VAR, which I think we will speak about another time.
That'll be another conversation.
But I just can't see anything past City. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Second.
Number 2, Liverpool. I think they're probably the second best team in the country.
Yeah.
A very, very good start, and I think in most Premier League eras and in most Premier League seasons would do enough to win the league, given the talent that the squad has. It is just they've come up at the wrong time.
Yeah.
And it's
kind of makes me happy that I don't have to deal with Liverpool fans going, we won a league title.
Yes, there is that as well. But yeah, I just think Liverpool are just going to come up that little bit short this year, and it's not going to be because they're not good enough. They may just drop.
Well, you look at it.
They dropped silly points last season when they didn't particularly need to, but I think that experience will stand them in good stead. I just don't think they're going to dislodge City.
Well, this was my discussion with a Liverpool fan the other day. Liverpool overachieved by 10 more expected points last season than what they were supposed to. City didn't overperform. They hit their level that they were supposed to by expected points. So you look at it, they're closer to an 87 to 90 point team than they are to a 97 to 100 point team, which City are. So even if they perform to all their levels that they're supposed to, they're still 10 points off.
Yeah.
In expected points, obviously that changes due to sneaky little handball caught by VAR against Spurs.
Yes. Number 3 is North London's finest, North London's top
Arsenal.
club, Tottenham Hotspur.
That's a lie then.
I just think we're not at the levels of City and Liverpool. I think we'll come up short. But I think we have enough to finish in the top 4. I think we've got enough to finish ahead yet again of Arsenal. But also I think we've got enough for Man United to finish above United and Chelsea as well.
Yeah.
But I think the team coming in at 4th is going to be Man United. I just think that they are gonna kill teams on the break. They've got so much pace in that front line.
You're looking though, as I said about Liverpool, one injury, and it's the same at Arsenal. Don't get me wrong, same at Arsenal. You get one big injury to one of your front line.
Yeah.
Because you look at their front line, they've got Martial, baller. Rashford, certified baller. Daniel James, Mason Greenwood, and as of this morning, it looks like they're about to get rid of Alexis Sanchez. But for 5 goals in 42 appearances, only 45 million, 8.5 million per goal, it's not a bad return, is it?
Well, I think with Alexis, obviously, his time at United has just not been what everybody thought.
No.
But I just think United, watching them against Chelsea, it was I think it was a fairly even game, but I just think at times United just took their chances and were clinical in front of goal, and I think that's what's going to get them into that 4th spot. Are you for United for top 4 or not?
I'll tell you my top 4 in a minute. I'll tell you my top 6 in a minute.
Okay.
You're not going to like my top 6.
Okay. So that's my top 4. I think my 3 to go down. Brighton are going to be in there for me. I am a bit perplexed at some of the transfer fees that they have brandished about. 20 million for Adam Webster,
That's questionable.
Was not even the best centre half in the Championship last season. So to go and spend 20 million on a player like that is quite alarming.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, they brought in Neil Maupay, who I'm assuming they'll see as a replacement for Glenn Murray, because players like the Cardia haven't really cut it so far. But again, you're spending 40 million on 2 players out of the Championship. Yes, Morpay is probably slightly more justifiable given his goal return last season for Brentford, but like I say, 40 million for 2 players out of the Championship.
How much did Leicester pay for James Maddison?
Maddison was 24, but then
exactly. I'm not saying Morpay is going to be anywhere near Maddison levels because Maddison's a freak at the moment. Like, his physique he's very physical, great on the ball, works hard off the ball, can finish. Apart from that miss against Chelsea, very unlike him. Would normally bury that. Good on a set piece. You never know, Morpay could be the player that keeps him up, but carry on.
Yeah, so I think Brighton are going. Then it's a bit of a mix. It could be 2 from any clutch of teams, really. I think Norwich will just about go down. Yeah. And although it pains me to say it because I like the way they've gone about things, in terms of, let's keep this group together and see where we can go with it. I just think they're going to hit a real sticky patch in the season, and where they go on a run of defeats, and I just think they're going to struggle to come back from it. Yeah. And they'll struggle to come back from it, I think, just because a lot of those players don't particularly have much experience. It's a fairly young squad at Norwich, so I just think that they'll go down. I don't think it'll be. I'm hoping anyway. It won't be by much because, like I say, I like the model that they've gone down in terms of their recruitment. Anyway, they've been very, very astute with it. But yeah, I just think they're going to hit a point in the season where they might lose 6 on the bounce, for example, and I just think they'll struggle from it off the back of it. But saying that, obviously got pumped by Liverpool, did bounce back against Newcastle.
It is Newcastle as well.
But it's an important game. It's a home game. It's one of those where they're going to earmark and go, right, we need to get 3 points. Newcastle probably feeling the same, and obviously, like you say, Norwich went and done it.
Buki, top scorer this season.
Yeah. I think then it is a toss-up probably between. I just think Sheffield United actually, but it's probably a toss-up between maybe them and Villa. But yeah, it's going to be tough. It's tough on these promoted sides, I think. Yeah. But again, do like Chris Wilder, do like what he's done. Managed in all England's top 5 divisions. Do like the way that Sheffield United are playing. But I think, as we mentioned earlier, just think that creativity
is just not going to be there.
In going and putting these chances there for the likes of Billy Sharp, Ollie McBurney, McGoldrick, and players like that. I just think they might fall short. But if there are any fans of, say, Norwich or Sheffield United or even Brighton, please don't shoot me down. It's just my thoughts really. So coming in.
Okay, so there's only one team that are gonna win the league, and it's City. There isn't a better side. You saw what they did last year. They saw what they did the year before. They've strengthened in the place they needed to strengthen. They even went out and got a left back as well, too, because Joe Cancelo can play left back. They're going to miss Sane this year, but then you look at their wingers. You've got Raheem Sterling, who is outrageous. You've got Aguero, Jesus, Riyad Mahrez,
Bernardo
Silva, who for some reason last year they turned around and went, do you fancy doing absolute bits in centre mid? He was like, yeah, alright then, go on then, and it was absolutely outrageous. And plus, I think they're just going to do it because also David Silva's last year with the club. It'll be that sort of let's send him out on a high. So I think that'll push him across the line. Second, and you said they'll do it pretty comfortably. I don't think it's going to be comfortable for him as I think. It will be Liverpool, but I think they'll only, maybe by a point or 2, squeeze above Spurs. As you can tell, Spurs are my 3rd place team. 4th, I'm going to Pride North London, Arsenal.
Can't be though because we're finishing above you. We've both agreed on it. So.
Yeah, but we've got class about us. You haven't.
You haven't.
You rented out Wembley for 18 months.
We had to play somewhere.
Could have gone and played at Don's, mate. They
We
offered
did
it
for
to
one
you.
game. We did one game. It was a cup game against
Mate,
Watford.
I don't know how Poch got through that. I was like, because it could, like, there was a point against City where the ball was bobbled off of a quarterback's toe and the man has put it into Rose End, and Poch is still sat at the end of the game after losing gone, well, we haven't done what we wanted to do, but we'll go on and we'll carry on. If I'm him there and it's 1-0 to City and a ball falls to Lamela and he punts it into the crowd, I think I would have killed him. I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah, Arsenal 4th, getting back Champions League football. I'm going to give you my 5th and 6th because I want to hear your opinion. I'm going 5th United, just falling out. I think Arsenal's front two, well, 3 if you include Pepe, of Aubameyang and Lacazette will outscore United's Martial and Rashford. Just due to, I just think it's just going to happen because you look against the smaller teams. Yeah, United might score more goals at the start of the season, but you look at how two sides went back to back last season. When Ollie had his good spell, Arsenal still outperformed them in expected goals and underlying numbers. So 5th United, and then my shock is going to be Leicester are going to finish 6th, with Chelsea's dropping out of the top 6. I just think the team that Leicester have got there, you look at the Wilfred Ndidi, Maddison, even Harvey Barnes, they've got a good keeper, Schmeichel, and I can't remember the lad's name that they've got at centre-back.
Sanuku.
Yeah. Did you hear Ben Chilwell's interview?
Yes, that was a good interview.
That was a great interview, Big Chilwell. Yeah, he scares me just looking at him, I'm not going to lie to you. It was like, he chuckles when he hurts you. That scares me. My bottom 3, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Newcastle, I'm sorry, I love Newcastle. I've always been a fan of watching them play since the Shearer days. Also, don't want to do it to one of my podcast heroes in the True Geordie, love him, great stuff. Massive Newcastle fan. I just think they're going to go down. Don't think they've got the power in the squad. I'm going to go Sheffield United, just due to the chance creations. And for me, it's a toss-up between Norwich and Bournemouth. So I think Bournemouth are going to be brought back into that just due to the fact of they've been rocky recently. And you look at the game against Sheffield, where they could have finished Sheffield off opening day of the season, didn't. Sheffield gets an equaliser. Those are the games where you're going, you need to keep that win. You've got that victory in the locker there, you keep that. So I think they're going to get brought into it a little bit, but I think my bottom 3, Newcastle, Sheffield, Norwich. I think Villa will stay up, and you better hope so, because if they go down, looks like Jack Grealish will come back to you.
He won't. We won't get Jack Grealish.
He'll go there, or he'll go United after Pogba leaves.
I don't think Leicester will finish top 6.
I know you disagree.
I think Chelsea will have enough eventually to finish in the top 6.
It'll be a toss-up between those two. I'd love to see Leicester finish in the top 6.
I think Wolves will be in the mix for a European place, and I think Everton will be as well, but I just think that Chelsea will eventually.
We also didn't talk about your second favourite team, Laura, West Ham. But we'll leave them for another time.
West Ham spent 100 million and didn't do anything last season.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think in terms of going down, I personally think Newcastle are going to be alright. I'm probably one of very few people that will think that Newcastle will be alright. I think they will get their house in order.
I just don't like what's happened at Newcastle recently. I listened to a few things. It was like, obviously Shearer and the big man had the argument, didn't they?
Yeah.
They changed the name of the bar from Shearer's Bar to 9. Have you seen they've actually moved Shearer's statue from outside the stadium? Yeah. That's outrageous. So.
But I just don't think they've got the players to do it. Don't get me wrong. They could stay up and they could prove me wrong. They could prove a lot of people wrong. I just don't think Steve Bruce is the man to keep them up. It could come to January and they're like, oh God, we've got to get someone else in who can keep us up here. And they go and get someone. You look at it, Big Sam turned them down in the summer. Yeah. And Big Sam is the guy that will almost promise you staying up. But I think you're backing on Sir Maximan and Joe Linton going supernova. No, I think Almiron is a really, really good player. He's got a very good small head. Yeah, he's been a good.
He's got a big head, hasn't he?
I mean, I'm on about him as a footballer. And you're looking at his head. All right. Priorities.
Oh yeah, but
no,
he's a very good footballer. It's just
I think he can strike up a good partnership with the big man Joe Linton.
yeah.
I think Carroll if they can get Carroll fit,
They signed Carroll back.
Almiron again. I think playing off a big man. I think Almiron will do very, very well. I think a player that's underrated for me is John Joe Shelby, because I think his passing range is one of. I mean, he can hit any type of pass.
Yeah, he's a very good
And I
player. It's
think-
just the inconsistencies with him and his attitude. If he decides to pack it in, and I think a lot of fans are going to back on Longstaff, because you look at, I think they lined up against Arsenal on the first day of the season, 5 at the back, 2 in midfield being Shelby and Longstaff. You're asking a lot out of those two, and then you drop back from those two, you've literally got championship midfielders. They've got Isaac Hayden in there, who, don't get me wrong, is probably a very good player, but has never proven it when he's been asked to. Which it's just the depth of getting the ball to those front men. Those front men could keep them up if they have people who are creative enough behind them.
Who then, as we've said, that 3 are going down.
Yep.
Who are the 3 that are going to come back or going to come up from the championship? In your eyes,
it's questionable. I think Fulham.
I think Fulham as well.
I think we'll both agree on Fulham. I want Leeds to come up. I think Leeds will come up. I think Derby will be in and around. But I don't think Huddersfield will do it. I think Swansea.
I'm going to go with Fulham. 100%. I think their
Fulham,
squad is too strong
gonna come straight back
for that division. Derby, I think, are going to go up this time around. They've got a very, very, very good manager in Philip Cocu.
Yeah.
And the Rooney factor, him coming in January, I think will give everybody.
That's one we didn't touch on as well.
I think that will just give everybody a boost at Derby. And then it could be. I mean, the Championship is just an unpredictable league. You could pick of any team.
My top 2 would be Fulham, Leeds, and any of that 4 could go up. But I've just got fear at Swansea. I don't know why. I just got that vibe. Or even Cardiff.
I was just going to mention Cardiff because you can't rule out Neil Warnock.
Have you heard some of his training routines?
Yeah,
absolutely unreal.
I mean, Warnock is just a person that knows how to get a team out of the Championship. Okay, he usually struggles when the sides get into the Premier League, but I mean, Cardiff aren't and weren't the prettiest and haven't really been over the last sort of 2 years. They haven't been the best team to watch, but their football's been effective.
And let's face it, they should have stayed up this year. It was outrageous what happened to them against Chelsea.
Yeah,
I'm not having that. That game alone they should have won. What was the other game? I think it might be against Spurs. They were quite unlucky.
I think they had a few good chances against us at Cardiff City Stadium.
Yeah.
I think the game at Wembley it was very one-sided and whatnot. But I can't rule out Cardiff. They're going to be ugly. They're going to be horrible to play against.
They just are, aren't they?
But you know what you're going to get from a Neil Warnock side, but it's effective and it gets teams out of that division.
Exactly.
But I think with the Championship, it's obviously we've just predicted on who we think's going to go up, but a lot of the time it's who can put a run together and who can stay consistent.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. I mean, all 24 teams in that division can beat.
Let's have it. We'd
one
love
another
Luton in the Prem.
Where they could all beat each other on any given day. And, it's
like a lot of people discount the Championship now, but you've got to look at it. It is a competitive league. It is a very strong league. Look at it, like as I pointed out, Maddison as well. His step up from Championship to Prem level, there didn't seem to be a change.
No.
So I think a lot of people got to reevaluate their stance on the Championship.
Especially, like you say, especially with the likes of Maddison coming up and stepping into the Prem and taking it so seamlessly in the way he has. will probably be an England player and an England regular very, very soon.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you're probably just going to say it then, but how he hasn't got a call up already is.
It's like, could you imagine that England midfield of being like Delhi, Maddison, plus one other?
Yeah.
And that one other. See,
I think Henderson's probably got that shirt at the minute. Who actually at the World Cup, barring his performance against Croatia, I think had a very steady World Cup.
Yeah, he did.
And has had some good performances for Liverpool, and has stepped up in terms of a leadership role a lot more, especially last season, because he was in and out of the team because of Fabinho. But I'd probably say Henderson would be the main one. But then off the back of that, we've got Eric Dyer who can play there, who can do a job there, but is he the most effective? Argument for and against. Declan Rice, up and coming, but again, is he the most effective in that position? I think the Nations League. We got to see how good Declan Rice was. Was he that? I personally don't think Declan Rice had his two best games in that Nations League, but then he's still a young player, so I'm not gonna hammer him for it. Even if he is a hammer, I'm not gonna come down on him too much for it. So yeah, but like I say, I think Championship as a league is just so unpredictable and whatnot, and there could be a real surprise package like there is every year. I mean, we saw it last season with Aston Villa. They were mid-table, and then all of a sudden 10 wins and they're in the playoffs, and then all of a sudden they're up, But
that's what we love football for. It's unpredictable and gives you the stuff that no one can see coming.
Yes.
It's like, who would have said Leicester would have won the league a few years back?
Well, who'd have thought Arsenal would have bottled it after being top on Valentine's Day?
Who'd have thought you would have finished third in a 2-horse race?
It couldn't have been, could it? It's not a 2-horse race because, like I say, Arsenal were top on Valentine's Day.
Are you going to give me this? We were never top all season.
No, I'm just saying, Arsenal were top that season on Valentine's Day after beating Leicester. So what happened there?
I'm going to say we had Giroud up top for the rest of the season, who went on a barren spell, 12 games without a goal, but we'll go with it.
Right, that concludes our transfer special for today. I hope you enjoyed the listen, and we hope we didn't ramble on too much for you.